Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Just about ready for first pitch here at the ballpark. Jimmy John's Field, the site for Game 1 between the Mammoths and the Hoppers on championship weekend. I'm Brendan Shabath. Joining alongside me is Dan Griesbaum Jr. Let's take a look at the starting lineups here on Friday for game number 1. We'll begin with the 4 seed, the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Leading off and batting first is the first baseman, Elijah Brown, a lefty at the top of the order for Taylor Jellikowski tonight. He's followed by Nick Caruso, the designated hitter. Houston Parker will bat third and play third. Brian Leaf cleaning up in this elimination game. He'll play out in right. Connor Emmett bats behind him at fifth. And out in left, Sam Loda, who's been a fantastic addition in just 13 games for the Mammoths, has the duties behind the plate, and he will bat sixth. Tanner Thomas has been the mainstay in center field all season. He's out there again batting seventh. Mitch Morales and Connor Bagneski will bat 8 and 9 and are your double play combination up the middle at second and shortstop. They're led by the pitcher of the year, as announced by Chelsea Cooper, our in-game host for the USPBL, on the mound tonight, in Colin Ledbetter. We'll see what he can do against this number 3 seeded Diamond Hoppers lineup. Alex Pupp leads things off and will play at short. He's followed by Porter, who's out in center. Marcoux will play in left and bat third. Joe Burke gets the cleanup duties. He's over at first base. Yadi Rivera gets the hot corner defensively and will bat fifth. Nick Kreitzer, the designated hitter tonight in the 6-hole. Bryant Schellenbarger will bat seventh and play out in right field. Scott Combs is the catcher behind the dish. He'll bat eighth. And Christian Fedko, who nearly hit for the cycle in the last regular season game of the year for the Hoppers, rounds out the 9. He'll play second base defensively. They're led on the bump by Derek Eddington. Let's take a look at the team comparison between these two teams, who we mentioned in the pregame had a hard-fought season series all year. Hoppers a few games above the Mammoths, but you look at the batting average and the ERA, both pretty close. The slugging as well, and obviously, Dan, the stolen bases. The Mammoths, the fastest team all year. They've got the USPBL single-season record holder in Elijah Brown, who has never been caught in 26 attempts. That adds a little wrinkle to playoff baseball, the aggressiveness and ability to run on the base paths.
It's an interesting dynamic, especially at this day and age, professional baseball. You don't see a lot of team speed. You don't see a lot of stolen bases, and speed never slumps.
Your keys for a victory for each team tonight?
You know what? These are two great pitchers going at each other. I think early on we'll see who can get a lead, who can maybe play the best defense, and you know, we'll see how long both of these starting pitchers can go. But there's a couple of really good ones out there today.
USPBL is no stranger to early run scoring, and we've seen it have an effect on the results of games all season long. We'll see what happens here in Game 1 on championship weekend at the USPBL. We'll step aside for the anthem. When we come back, it's first pitch with Derek Eddington and the Hoppers after this.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's, $5 off orders of 20 or more.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
A beautiful rendition of the national anthem by Vanessa Carr means we're just about ready to get going here in historic downtown Utica. Derek Eddington on the mound to start things off in the top of the first here for the Hoppers. With that, let's take a look at our Ascension pitcher comparison between two Pitcher of the Year candidates in Eddington and Colin Ledbetter. As we already mentioned, Colin Ledbetter, the winner of the Pitcher of the Year as announced pregame today. And you can see why both these guys were on that list. 2 ERAs below 4. Eddington just above 3. Both guys more than 55 innings in the top 5 in innings pitched. The big number that stands out for Derek Eddington, at least 72 strikeouts, 18 walks. That's the best ratio league-wide. For him, it's been the big curveball and fastball mix that has worked well all season long.
There's a lot to like about him. He's done a great job simplifying his approach. He's pretty heavy on his fastball, and it's a heavy fastball for that. But he really comes right after guys. You could see the Mammoths pregame, taking a look out of the machine. They're bringing the fastballs pretty quick out of the machine. You can tell that they're maybe sitting on that, looking to hit the fastball today.
Yeah, that's one of the differences once we get to playoff baseball. The preparation changes. I haven't seen any team use a machine in BP all season long, and that's what I heard from some of the players, that Taylor Jellikowski knows that Eddington is going to rely on the fastball, use it to get some outs. So he went out there with the machine and was just sending fastballs in to his team for batting practice.
I kind of like it. Nothing can really mimic that velocity like a machine can. None of your batting practice pitchers can zip it in there quite like Eddington's going to do today. I mean, he averages 90 on his fastball, can get it up to 93, 94. So you know what he's going to do, and we know what the Mammoths are going to try to do.
Throws the fastball about 66% of the time. Curveball's about a quarter of the time. He does have a splitter as well. That's less than 10%. He was toying with a slider for about the last month of the regular season, has kind of gone away from that. Doesn't want to risk hanging one while being ahead in a count in a single elimination game.
If you're going to get beat with your best.
Brown, Caruso, and Parker to start it off here in Game 1 of the playoffs.
Mammoths right out of the gate with one of their best guys. Elijah Brown had a great year, perhaps the best all around really on their club offensively.
First pitch in for a strike at 7-11, and the playoffs are underway. Brown, batting .271 with 4 home runs on the year, was awarded the Paul Nochi Developmental Player of the Year, a new award that we have this year. Fouls that one back 0-2. You mentioned the steals record with him. Also has really good plate discipline, 24 walks to 27 strikeouts for Brown on the season.
I like the addition of that award. It's a developmental league. Makes a lot of sense. Paul Nochi, certainly a great guy to name it after.
Guy who's been here since the inception of the USPBL, the 0-2, again fouled back.
Winningest manager, I believe.
Managed the Hoppers for some time.
He was awful close to winning that championship last year. Couldn't have got any closer.
For those that remember, it was the Hoppers and the Unicorns almost a year ago exactly in the championship game. Unicorns would win that on a walk-off base hit from John Hodo.
We're down to their last strike on a couple of occasions. Game-tying hit landed right on the foul line.
The 2-2. Smacked out into right center field, and this game starts with a base hit for Elijah Brown. Schellenbarger picks it up, but the leadoff man is on for the Mammoths.
2-2, he brought him the breaking ball, left it a little bit up in the zone, and Elijah was able to keep his hands back and drive it into right field to get this thing going for the Mammoths. Let's see if he tries to swipe second base here at some point. Curious
to see how much the aggression will change in the playoffs. We talked about the advantage it brings just to have, and it's obviously going to be a distraction for any pitchers that the Mammoths face. But also don't want to give away free outs. Brown going on the first pitch. Combs, the throw down to second is a good one, but it's dropped by Fedko. He's safe.
Really couldn't have put it in a better spot, but he was just sliding in and almost collided with the ball, really. But they didn't waste any time there. I thought maybe they'd think about waiting a little bit, but didn't waste any time. Why not?
Seems like for the most part, Brown has either gone on the first pitch or he'll let the pitcher think about it for 3 or 4 before he finally decides to go. And makes him now 27 for 27 this season. Man in scoring position. Brown's going to go for third. Caruso lays down the bunt.
I think that might have been
foul.
I think somebody may have gotten crossed up there. I don't think you would bunt and run like that, especially with a guy who steals bases like Brown. I think somebody might have missed a sign there.
And that's understandable. Signs are not often used, rarely used in the regular season. They really only make an appearance in the postseason play.
The only possible play they could have been putting on there is if they wanted him to run, bunt the ball, and then just keep coming home and try to catch the defense sleeping. But that would be an unusual play, I think, for the first inning and nobody out.
Ooh, and Eddington plunks Caruso. Looks like it caught him on that right hand.
Yeah,
in an 0-2 count.
That's
And puts another one on.
Now you got Hootie coming up, 2 guys on, nobody out. Obviously one of your stronger hitters. Do you think about really forcing the issue and trying to move your runners in some way here?
I'd imagine not, with the speed that Brown has at second. Anything into the outfield is probably, you're going to have a good chance of scoring him.
I would agree with you.
Parker has been the best RBI hitter on the Mammoths all season long, one of the best in the league, 22 on the season, to go along with his .254 average.
Certainly not the start the Hoppers wanted.
And we've talked earlier in the year about Eddington's ability to rebound. Typically see him maybe have one bad inning here or there, and the rest of the start is pretty good. He was ahead 0-2 on Brown. Elijah fought himself back into a 2-2 count and laced a single to right. And Caruso got hit by a pitch on an 0-2 count. Eddington again ahead 0-1. That one's high with the curveball.
Burke is playing in front of the runner at first. He's at least thinking about the possibility of a bunt there. Over at third, Rivera's about even with the bag.
Ball and a strike. Out into right. Schellenbarger looking into the sun will go back. Brown is going to tag from second. The throw is not cut off. It's a good one, but it scoots by. Back to the backstop. Eddington was there, but Caruso heads over to second from first base. Second and third with only one out. Brings up the cleanup man, Brian Leaf.
Eddington was there, but he wasn't. You know, he was there, but not quite in position for the way that that ball skipped, and it ended up getting by him. Had he stopped it before it got to the wall, I think it would have kept Caruso at first. Now you've got second and third, one out, which is essentially the same as a bunt.
Yeah, with all the room in foul territory here, even with a good bounce off the backstop like that one did, you need everything to go your way as a defender to make sure runners don't advance.
And this guy's got some real pop in his bat.
5 home runs on the year for Leaf, one of the best hard hit hitters this season. It's kind of been two sides of one coin for Leaf. Does deal with the swing and miss quite a bit. The chase rate is in the upper echelon of the league. But boy, when he makes contact, it seems like every single time he hits the ball 85 miles an hour or more, a hard hit ball by USPBL standards.
Yeah, he's going to K as much as anybody in the league, and he's not going to walk very much, but the ball really jumps off his bat.
Skips in the dirt. Good block by Combs. We've seen a number of runners score this season on wild pitches. Brown is definitely a little jumpy with anything in the dirt over there at third base.
The type of hitter that if you really work with him on his approach, the hope is that over time he's going to smooth some of those things out and really take the next step in his career.
That's what I've heard from a lot of people who are in the development business and all levels of baseball. Leaf puts this one out into center. Porter goes back. This should score the first run of the game. Both will tag. Porter elects to throw to third. Everybody's safe, and the Mammoths are on the board first with a sac fly from Brian Leaf.
That's a nice job there by Brian Leaf. Stayed back, didn't try to do too much. With the type of bat speed that he has, all he needed to do is put a good swing on a decent pitch and get the RBI, and that's exactly what he accomplished there, and moved up Caruso to third while he was at it.
So still a runner 90 feet away for Connor Emmett. But back to our point, the discussion that I've heard is that it's a lot easier to reel a guy in who swings too much than, force guys to be aggressive. Some guys look at their own scouting report and say, well, I'm walking, I'm getting on base. I work a lot of walks, but they want you to be able to hit the ball. And it's easier to kind of flip that rather than make someone be more aggressive and put the ball in play.
Well, just looking at this Willie Mammoths club, you see someone like Greg Vaughn Jr., who's not in the lineup today. He walks as much as anybody, and he's got a lot of power in his bat, but I think sometimes he's not taking the bat off his shoulder like they'd like.
It's kind of how the Mammoth season has gone, with Brown and Vaughn being the two guys that walk a bunch. Brown has the good combination of putting the ball in play perhaps a little bit more than, like you mentioned, Greg Vaughn Jr., but Brian Leaf and Buddy Dwayne, the two who are on the opposite side that maybe need some reeling in a little bit, but the potential is there for it.
No doubt. Connor Emmett, another guy with potential. He had a history in college of hitting the ball over the fence quite a bit.
20 home runs in 3 seasons at Central Arkansas for Emmett.
Hasn't really shown that here yet, but it's certainly in there.
Hasn't had one professionally. 188 average in just 15 games. Was a late arrival. Friend of Malik Bolin of the Unicorns. Grew up around the same area in Texas. That's how he heard of the USPBL and made his way here. He'll face a full count. Chance to add an extra run here in the first.
With the open base, will he try to get him to chase or possibly throw an off-speed pitch?
Went with the fastball at 90, and Emmett popped it foul. I think Rivera didn't think that one was going to be as close as it was. It did get out of play anyways.
A lot of room over there.
Really good crowd here on Friday for Game 1. The last Friday fireworks spectacular of the season.
It's hard to believe, I'll tell you. Season goes fast.
Yeah, we've had a lot of them. Only one more.
Tremendous crowds here on Friday nights all
Yep.
year. It's really been incredible.
Payoff pitch again. Inside, he walked him. Emmett held back on the fastball for the second time in a row. Let's take a look at the defense behind Derek Eddington. It's Marcoux, Porter, and Schellenbarger from left to right in the outfield tonight for the Hoppers. Rivera and Burke are on the corners. Pup and Fedko, the double play combo up the middle with Combs catching the pitches. Defense brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group every single day here on the USPBL Network.
Speaking of defense, this guy, Sam Loda, Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
And Loda, only 13 games played professionally here in the USPBL. A .313 average. Already has a home run and 9 RBIs. But like you mentioned, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. 2 back picks and 2 runners caught already at the catching position, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you factor in that it's only been 13 games, and you factor in that catchers have just not cut down a lot of runners this season. He really made some eyes pop when he first got here. Burke's got a long run for this one over on the right side. Slides. Oh, couldn't grab it. That was close.
Great effort.
Quickly dirtying the playoff jersey.
And you figure someone who's only been here for 13 games, like Loda, to make that type of an impact defensively at the catching position, really impressive. That's not an easy position to just jump into a league. You've got to take some time to learn your pitchers, what their ball does, you know, the type of game that you can call with each guy. It's not easy to just jump in like that and make that type of an impact.
And I remember asking Rafi Vasquez after Loda's first game behind the plate. That was the guy he caught for, and Vasquez was raving about the game that Loda called behind the dish. Swing and a miss on the 1-2. Eddington gets out of the inning with 2 on, but the Mammoths do score 1 with Elijah Brown on the sac fly from Brian Leaf. Makes it 1-0 after the top of the first. We'll see if the Hoppers' offense can change things in the bottom half. Let's take a look at our Freaky Fast Facts first. Flipping a shark upside down makes it immobile for up to 15 minutes. That's good to know if you're ever in the ocean, perhaps.
Can you flip? How do you flip a shark upside down?
I thought it was something with the nose, and then you turn them. I think it's easier than it sounds from what I've heard.
I hope I can always just take your word for it.
Right. The human body is genetically closer to a banana than many animals.
Okay.
Do we have
percentage of water, maybe? Something to do with it?
Do we have monkeys beat? We can't, right?
That's a hard one to figure out. I don't know.
Elephants are the only creatures on the planet with 4 knees.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Your Freaky Fast Facts brought to you by Jimmy John's. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's the Hoppers batting in the bottom of the first.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Colin Ledbetter and his newly earned award will take the mound for the Mammoths. 2.45 ERA for Ledbetter in 58 2/3 innings on the year. Talked about how good his slider is. It's basically sinker and slider for Colin. Does mix in a changeup here and there.
That's a tough combination for a hitter to face. You've got one ball going one way, you got the other ball going the other way, and he throws them relatively equal, which is also a little bit unusual.
For rounding up, throws the slider more than the sinker actually at 49%, the sinker at 48%. If you want to do the math, that tells you how little we see the changeup. Sinker velocity sits at 90, has gotten up to 93. He's certainly not going to wow you with the velocity, but it's good enough to be in the upper ring of the league. But the slider and the movement that goes along with it, the horizontal slide that it has, is eye-popping and has gotten so much swing and miss all season long.
Well, you know he's doing something right when you look at him and opponents have a slugging percentage of 229. You know, that's hitters not hitting the ball with any impact whatsoever throughout the season. He's doing something to miss a lot of barrels.
That is the best opponent slugging for a pitcher, meaning the lowest of anybody in this league. Pup takes a slider on the outside for ball one. Pup will be followed by Porter and then Marcoux. The Mammoths sent 6 to the plate in the first. Only 1 hit for them. Hit by pitch. A couple runners tagging. Scored Elijah Brown on a sac fly.
Ledbetter, really another interesting guy from a developmental standpoint as well. Someone who started out pitching in relief a lot and just tried the starting role one time out of necessity, and it certainly went well, and maybe could change his career possibly going forward based on that.
He's now up to 8 starts in 20 total appearances, so nearly half as many as relief, as Pup puts this one out into the gap in right. He's going to try to stretch it for 2. This one's going to be close to throw to second. Got him! He is out at second base, and Colin Ledbetter's fired up.
Wow. That was very aggressive. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, he runs well, and he decided to give his team a little extra jolt by going for it there right out of the gate. But I think it's a decision he'd like to have back.
He was arguing about the call. I don't know about you, Dan. I thought they had him pretty much dead to rights.
Yeah,
the ball around it.
Yeah, the ball beat him by quite a bit. I think he did try his best to slide around it, and who knows from our vantage point, but the ball beat him by quite a bit.
Porter, first pitch swinging back to the screen, and that's an issue that Pup has dealt with this season. He's certainly aggressive, has decent speed on the paths, 7 for 8 in stolen bases, but there have been a couple live base running miscues that have led to outs more often than they have the extra base for Pup this year.
A couple guys right out of the gate in the Hoppers lineup that have had really nice years. Pup and now Blake Porter, 2 USPBL, all USPBL team members, Defensive Player of the Year candidates. Not a bad way to start out.
Porter facing the 0-2, swing and a miss. Ledbetter gets his first strikeout, and the strut off the mound puts 2 down here in the first. And yeah, when you go through the center fielders in this league, Tanner Thomas and Blake Porter, the starters tonight for the Mammoths, and you add in one of the co-MVPs and the Defensive Player of the Year, Drew Galassi, as well as Marcos Castillo, who was an MVP candidate for the Beavers. It's almost a center fielder's league. All those guys hit for average. All of them have pop. Great defenders. Ran into another MVP candidate, Dakota McFadden, pregame today, and he was complimenting Drew Galassi, who was just a few feet away, and says, you know, when I play the Unicorns, I just try to hit it away from that guy, and that guy is foul pole to foul pole, and that's pretty accurate
Right.
for Galassi.
He's stolen a lot of hits from guys, some home runs too.
Joe Burke, who's on deck, has been a victim of that this season in the Hoppers and Unicorns matchups.
I feel like Burke's been a victim in general. It seems like he gets robbed a lot.
Marcoux waiting on the 2-0. Burke has had legitimately 4 or 5 home runs taken away, I think.
Yeah, a lot of his numbers really don't make sense. He doesn't strike out very much, puts the ball in play a lot and with a lot of authority, and doesn't have a lot to show for it.
Leads his team in home runs with 7, as well as RBIs with 23, but a 186 average.
Noah Marcoux, a local guy out of Saginaw, Davenport.
On the right side to Brown. He'll keep it himself, Ledbetter does give up a hit, but Pup was caught at second trying for the extra base, so it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Mammoths. They lead it 1-0 after 1.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Leading off to the Westside Woolly Mammoths, the center fielder, number 4, Tanner Thomas.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. 1-0 Mammoths after 1 inning. They had 6 batters go to the plate in the first. Means it's Thomas, Morales, and Bagneski, 7, 8, and 9 hitters here in the second. It was a weird first inning for Eddington. He obviously gave up the single to Brown, but then his speed kind of wreaked havoc on the base paths. Hit Caruso in an 0-2 count. Got ahead against Houston Parker, who eventually flied out to the outfield and advanced both runners. Sac fly from Leaf ahead in the count. I mean, in a full count walk to Connor Emmett, he pitched well. He got ahead in the counts against good hitters and kind of just didn't go his way. You got to give credit to the Mammoths lineup for hitting with 2 strikes.
I think speed kills. You know, you get the leadoff man on who's got a reputation for swiping bags. I think you worry about him a little too much sometimes.
Thomas, hard hit on the ground to the right side. He'll lead things off with a base hit. Second inning in a row. That's the case for the Mammoths.
Tanner Thomas has some pop in his bat, especially to the pull field.
I think he has arguably the fastest home run of the year. He had one that left on a line, I think back in early August maybe.
This guy coming up here for a bottom of the order hitter, I really like the look of his at-bats. You know, he seems like he has a plan up there. He has an idea of what he's trying to do. Looks for a certain pitch early in the count, and if he gets it, he tries to jump on it. If he doesn't get it, he'll give himself a shot on the next pitch. Just a good approach. Good professional looking at-bat.
Morales hitting .226 in 18 games.
Doesn't chase a lot. That's a good example of it right there.
Yeah. He has 5 RBIs, and 3 of them are not with base hits. In 3 consecutive at-bats, I believe it was in his pro debut, he had a bases-loaded walk and 2 bases-loaded hit by pitches for RBIs. That one floats back our way, foul. Some young fans enjoying some playoff baseball. Perhaps waiting around for the fireworks later tonight. 1-1 on Morales. He takes high. 2-1.
You can tell mentally they're geared up for the fastball. It seems like that's, especially early in the count, they're really looking for a fastball in the zone.
And I think because of that already, we've seen a few more curveballs maybe than normal for Eddington.
Oh, he caught him.
Ooh,
yep.
Got him. Tanner Thomas was leaning over at first. Eddington just picked off once, didn't get him. Peeked over, and Thomas wasn't ready. That's a big first out.
He really tried to time his jump there, and he was wrong. He was just wrong. Eddington just waited an extra beat from what he was expecting, and he was able to catch him. 2 base running errors now, back-to-back half innings that we've seen, and those things can pile up.
Thomas has speed. He was 7 for 11 coming into tonight. And I think, in Tanner's defense, we've rarely seen back-to-back pickoff moves this year. Most runners go if they survive the first pickoff on the next pitch.
It'll be interesting to follow the pickoff game in MLB next year with the limits, the time limits that are being proposed.
New rule changes coming out today. The shift has been banned. You must have 2 infielders on either side of second base, and they must start with a foot on the infield dirt. The pitch clock is coming to the major leagues as well. I think that's going to be a welcomed addition when you just look at the numbers. The pitch clock was used in the minors this year, and for the most part, at almost every level, 2.5-hour games, whereas the MLB was above 3 hours on average this season.
I got to believe some of that has to do with commercial breaks, but, certainly the action of the game slower at the MLB level as well.
Pickoff moves are going to be limited to 2 per at bat, I believe, was the ruling, right?
I believe so. I know some of these things were debated and not necessarily passed yet, but I believe you're correct about that. I just don't that particular one. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, if somebody tries, if they use their 2 pick moves, what is the runner going to do after that? If there's no risk of being picked, can you still step off the back of the rubber and stop him? Is that still permitted?
Yeah,
if not, does the runner just run whenever he feels like it?
Is the pitcher stepping off the back of the rubber and throwing to second? That doesn't count as a pickoff, right? So I guess that's what he could do. But yeah, you use your second one and you don't get the guy. He's got to have a huge lead over there first. Morales going on the pitch. It's fouled back.
We spoke earlier about Bagneski has a good, solid track record against the Hoppers this year, hitting well over 300.
333. It is only 18 at-bats, 6 hits to go with it, but it's enough to convince Taylor Jellikowski to give him the start in this game. Back up the middle. Fedko on the backhand won't get there, and there it is. A base hit for Bagneski. Morales got caught. Oh, he got back. Wow. Slipped, rounding the bag at second. Was able to fight back.
We've seen some very aggressive base running today out of both teams, and it's cost these guys in a couple of cases. That was very, very close there. He made a very aggressive turn at second base. I don't know if he was actually thinking about going to third or if he was trying to draw a throw to third. But hard turn and a little bit of a slip that could have been a disastrous out there at second.
Bagneski picks up another hit against the orange and green. Flips the lineup over to Elijah Brown, who's already 1 for 1 with a run scored. The only run in this game. He's trying to change that. Takes the curveball outside. Going back to our point about Bagneski getting the start as he's over at first base after his single, I think starts probably mean a little bit less in the playoffs. We should see the benches be utilized in almost every game, a significant amount, probably earlier than we expect, more than we'd expect.
These guys certainly play hunches when it comes to a win or go home scenario, which is what we're in right now. You look at track record, just look at gut feeling.
Brown waiting on the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Evens the count at 2 apiece. Only one down here in the top of the second, and that's because Eddington picked off Tanner Thomas over at first. But it's already been 2 hits and a walk and only 3 batters. Brown the 4th to come to the plate. Swing and a miss. Eddington gets his first K. That's a much needed one to make it 2 on with 2 out.
I'm a little surprised back-to-back 88-mile-an-hour fastballs to get those by Brown consecutively. That's a surprise. I don't know if he was a little bit in his head there thinking about the breaking ball, or it's not like him to miss 2 pitches in a row like that.
I think especially the first one, 2-1. You know, I've talked to Brown a significant amount. He's a smart hitter, knows what all the pitchers in the league do. I'm sure he was ready for that fastball.
Another guy here, Nick Caruso, with a good track record just in terms of bat-to-ball skills, putting the ball in play.
212 average for Caruso. Morales had a big jump at second, but nobody was there to cover as Eddington stepped off. Caruso was one of those guys who at the start of the year really struggled with his batting average, put the ball in play so much, as he does right here. Schellenbarger is out there and right, and that was the result a lot for Nick at the start of the year. So many contact outs to the 7, 8, or 9 defensive players. Eddington gives up a couple hits but escapes unscathed here in the top of the second. It's 1-0 Mammoths. Will head to the bottom half with the Hoppers batting.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Bottom of the second, it's Burke, Rivera, and Kreitzer for the Hoppers, trailing by a run. Ledbetter faced just 3 in the first inning. Did give up a base hit to Pup, who was caught trying for the extra bag at second. First pitch to Burke, and that clip him it did.
Just a bit.
Was able to avoid the heavy part of it, but he'll head to first. It was the slider that didn't slide as much as Ledbetter wanted it to.
And a bit of good fortune, finally, for Joe Burke, someone who's had his share of bad luck this year.
Defense behind the Mammoths here in the bottom of the second goes as Emmett, Thomas, and Leaf are your outfielders. Parker and Brown on the corners. Bagneski and Morales, the double plays up the middle, and Sam Loda rounds out the battery defense, brought to you by 3-Dimensional Services Group. Rivera takes a slider for strike one. Yanni Rivera, a fun guy who's been really enjoyable to watch this year. Coming out of Northwestern Ohio after the college showcase, joining the league. 259 average for Yachty, almost 20 RBIs.
And another left-hander, a very heavily left-handed lineup this Hoppers team is.
He's the first of 3 in a row. After Yachty, it's Kreitzer and Schellenbarger. That trio has typically been consecutive in the order for Ryan Kotke and John Dombrowski all season long, ever since they got all those guys. Brought in a lot of lefties after the showcase. Marcoux and Rivera and Schellenbarger all joining the league around the same time. Rivera got in front of that one, but it's foul.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but certainly can't help but wonder if the situation warrants it. Will Taylor Jellikowski possibly go to Dawson Lane, the left-hander, out of the bullpen? You know, you've got your 2-3 hitter, your 5-7 hitter, all left-handers in this lineup. Does he, pick an inning or two with those guys coming up and go that route to go lefty on lefty?
We talked about it in the pregame. He contemplated sending Lane out there to start this game, going against the lefties. I think for what it's worth, Ledbetter is fantastic against lefties, though. He's actually better against lefties than righties this season, just minimally by 5 points, but it is 188 for the lefties, which is one of the best in the league.
I'm sure that played into the decision as well.
Ledbetter is a guy who's been here since the start. Lane was a later addition.
It's always a difficult debate for a manager or a coach when you're in this kind of a situation. You've got to win 3 games in 3 days. So do you come with your best right away, or do you try to set yourself up potentially with matchups to win all 3 games and give yourself the best chance of doing so?
Rivera takes the backdoor slider for strike 3 looking. That's the second strikeout for Colin Ledbetter. And, we heard from Mitch Aker that Jelly just said if I didn't send the pitcher of the year out there, no matter the result, I wasn't going to be able to live with myself. And that's
fair.
Understandable, yeah.
That's fair.
He's done well so far.
You don't want to be eliminated with your best on the bench, that's for sure. Nick Kreitzer hit a ball in pregame. I don't know if you saw it. I think it was his last swing that went off the Ascension sign, which is on the left side of the scoreboard here at Jimmy John's Field. And he's a left-handed hitter.
Yeah, that's so opposite way.
To hit one in the gap opposite way that far, that was a impressive opposite field power, even just for batting practice.
Well, I spoke with Ryan Kotke about Nick right near the end of the regular season, and leads the league in average exit velocity, up there in hard hit percentage. Has some of the furthest hit home runs this year. That's another hard hit ball as it's roped into the gap. Burke will stretch it to third. It's going to be runners on the corners with 1 out. Ledbetter trips. He falls down, lost the ball. Burke's going to come home. Kreitzer to second. It's a tie ball game, 1-1.
Is he hurt, or did he stay down to avoid the throw? It looks like he might be hurt. That would be very unfortunate for this Mammoths club if he got hurt on that play.
And you see Burke with the hands on his head. Ledbetter is still down. It looks like he twisted his ankle maybe as he went for that ball.
That's unfortunate. You hate to see that. Tanner Thomas did a nice job cutting that ball off. He got it in a hurry and missed his cutoff man. Ledbetter trying to be aware and back that ball up. Looks like he took an awkward step maybe.
This just doesn't look good. He's walking on it, obviously, but very gingerly, and not sure whether it's his push-off or his plant leg, but either one is not good if it's an ankle issue.
And will Dawson Lane, or someone else for that matter, get themselves ready in a hurry if this doesn't work out? Looks like he's going to try to soldier through it. Probably throw a couple pitches here, I would think.
Yeah, see how he feels. So Burke scores to tie the game. He was going to make it to third anyways on what would have been a single from Kreitzer. Both will advance. Hasn't gone up on the board as an error. Not sure what.
There's got to be there's got to be an error somewhere there. I would think probably on the throw. It's maybe a bit of an unfair error on Thomas, but there's got to be one somewhere. It wasn't a double.
So it looks like Ledbetter is going to muscle through this one. Have to admire him going through the adversity. We'll see how the rest of the start goes.
They'll keep an eye on him. It's a developmental league. You're not going to want to risk him if he's favoring something out there. So I'm sure they'll keep a close eye.
Looks like the bullpen catchers for the Mammoths staying loose in case they need to start catching pretty soon here. So now it's only one down and a runner in scoring position for Bryant Schellenbarger. He swings at the first one. It's on the ground to Parker at third. Nice backhand field. And looked Kreitzer back to second and gets the out. 5-3 for the second put out. Brings up Scott Combs, the catcher for the Hoppers.
Another local guy out of Northville, Michigan. Went to Divine Child. Shown some good things here in his short stay so far, 11 games.
Yeah, they really like him. 281 average, does have a home run. That came recently. He's another guy who has been impressive defensively. He's cut down a couple runners at second base already. Some throws from his knees. Even, we saw him, looked like maybe beat Brown with the ball to second base in the first inning. It was just dropped by Fedko there.
Yeah, it was about as good of a throw as he could have had, I think.
He takes for strike one.
Started out his college career over at Michigan State and transferred over to Northern Illinois.
3 seasons as a Spartan before transferring out of East Lansing.
Of course, I'm biased coming from CMU, but pretty good baseball in the MAC, I would say.
Yeah. See that ankle. Hard to tell when a guy's just, really toughing through it or if he's actually okay. Combs, a lazy swing on the slider outside. Ledbetter gets the job done, frustrated with a run that comes across. We're tied after 2.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Tied at 1 apiece now as Joe Burke was able to score on the Mammoths' error after Colin Ledbetter maybe twisted an ankle in the last half inning. So now Derek Eddington will face Houston Parker, Brian Leaf, and Connor Emmett with an even score game.
This one's been a doozy for just a couple innings. I feel like a lot's happened.
Only through 2. It hasn't exactly been your A-list baseball, so to speak. A couple base running errors, a couple fielding errors, a couple hit batters for both sides already.
We might push our usual time limit at this rate.
It has been entertaining, though. Parker,
Yep.
little lazy swing. This one has eyes, and it'll drop.
End of the bet. Sometimes it's better to be lucky.
That's exactly what Houston Parker is there with the leadoff single. Boy, the Mammoths have led off every inning in this game with a single. Brown singled and scored in the first. Thomas singled last inning and was picked off. Well, it remains to be seen what Parker's fate is.
You hate to give the other team outs. There's only 27 outs in the game. They're all so precious, and those types of little mistakes can make the difference.
Leaf a swing and a miss. He's got the only RBI for either side tonight. Kreitzer doesn't get the RBI on Burke's run. He had a sac fly his first time up. Just outside, 85 from Eddington. Looked like a fastball with maybe a little bit taken off.
Yeah, seemed to take a little off of it. He hasn't really dialed it up yet with the fastball. It might just be by design. You know, he might be thinking about going 7-8 innings in this game. Doesn't want to blow it out early.
87 on another one just off the plate outside. Checking in on the YouTube comments. Braden and Paul, Mammoths fans tonight. Pigeon Powerhouse. Scott Conwell, Javier, Melissa Pup, Roddy Thomas, Mose Fart, all rooting for the Hoppers. Scott Gordon says, thank you for bringing out the A-team announcer and AA team color commentator, Daniel, the best color guy that has ever graced the airways of this league. That's pretty high praise.
That is very high praise. Thank you, Scott. I don't know about that, but every viewer has their preferences and their favorites, and
we give them a place to share them.
Yes.
The 2-2, swing and a miss. Leaf down on strikes. That's the second one for Eddington. First out here in the third.
What do you think about the Flintstone jersey? Are you into that?
I'm pro Flintstone jersey. I am. I wish it was a different color, maybe. Obviously, we have two oranges tonight now.
Right.
And the Mammoths colors all season are gray and blue, but I understand it. It's a great design.
Definitely.
We talked about it earlier in the year in one of our broadcasts. There have been some fantastic alternate jerseys all season long. The Mammoths had the Top Gun alternate in the first weekend of the year.
That one sold quite well, I can tell you. As you know, my day in, day out work here with the league is more on the business side, and that was a very popular one with the fans, the Top Gun. Also a terrific movie. That doesn't hurt anything. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, that might have helped too. Top Gun Maverick came out either right before or right after.
It was right around that time. Great timing.
Yeah.
And good work by the marketing folks here at the USPBL, but that really couldn't have gone any better, that one. But I agree with you. A lot of really fun promotions.
Emmett smacks that one out into right field. Schellenbarger will give chase as Parker around second. He'll head to third. Now the Mammoths have runners on the corners with one down.
Nice job by Schellenbarger getting it into the cutoff man quickly and accurately, for that matter. But the Mammoths have something going here with one out.
Brings up Loda. He already struck out once today. But yeah, we had the Unicorns with Star Wars. The Beavers have their typical alternates where they wear the reds. I really like the Beavers reds.
Yes.
What else did we have?
Well, my favorite, it was jarring and shocking, but which is something that I kind of like for minor league baseball. But the Hoppers with the pink out the park jersey this year, it was
those were good ones.
It was very shocking pink. I figure if you're going to do it, you may as well go all in.
Yeah. It was hot, and there was a lot of it, but it looked good.
Absolutely. Hoppers had a very shocking one last year, too, with the, I think it was one of the Jimmy Buffett nights, and there was a Key West jersey. Very orange and yellow.
Yeah. I think I saw a fan wearing that today, actually.
I did as well. But minor league baseball, you got to do fun stuff like this.
Exactly. A lot of these players come from the Savannah Bananas, and they have been one of the most successful businesses in sports since their conception. They just had their ESPN documentary come out. The Beavers' Dakota McFadden is featured in that. He played for the Bananas, as well as Christian Dearman of the Mammoths, a few other guys in the league.
Certain demeanor always about the players there, very entertaining, very personable kind of guys.
You almost have to be.
Oh, yeah.
Second time in a row, Loda goes down on strikes. The only 2 outs this inning have come from swinging strikes.
It was the last time through a fastball that was thrown by Loda, and he may have been thinking about that a little bit on that pitch, and that time they got him with the curveball, and that's pitching, you know, knowing when to change things up, knowing when to attack a guy the same way that you did the previous time, and that time they changed it up on him, and it worked out.
Thomas is 1 for 1. He had a single to lead off last inning.
If I was pitching Thomas, I would try to stay away from him a little bit. It seems like he really looks to pull the ball. That's really where his power is primarily, is to the pull field.
1-0 inside, and he swings back up the middle. It'll score 1. Mammoths retake the lead. Tanner Thomas is 2 for 2 with an RBI.
That's a mistake for me, you know, to try to sneak it by him on the inside part of the plate there. I think that's playing into his strength.
He plates Parker to make it 2-1. That'll bring up Mitch Morales with 2 down and 2 on. Mitch worked a walk his first time. Another longer inning for Eddington. Morales will be the 6th batter to come to the plate here in the third. It was 6 in the first, 5 in the second, and now at least 6 in the third. On a night where, if you're a Hoppers fan, you want Eddington to go as long as he can. He just hasn't been able to work a quick inning yet.
Yeah, this is not the kind of start that they wanted. You know, like we talked about earlier, not just trying to win 1 game, really trying to win 3. And to have any chance of doing that, you really need him to keep the ball for a while.
Inside with the curveball, 1-1. Derek does have 4 strikeouts to go against his 2 walks. But a hit batter, and he's already given up 6 hits in this game.
We haven't really seen the high-end velocity from him yet either. You know, not bad, upper 80s, but he's shown that he can go a little bit higher than that on occasion. Haven't seen that quite yet.
I mean, he's shown that he can sit 90 pretty much and get a few ticks above that when he really tries to gear it up. Can't help but wonder if it's strategy or maybe a little tentativeness.
Worrying about his command, possibly.
That one's at 89 and fouled back. We talked about it. The Mammoths were ready for the fastball.
Yep.
They used the machine in pregame.
Which is highly unusual. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you don't see a machine on the field in pregame really ever at really any elevated level of baseball whatsoever. But if you're trying to hit the good fastball, it's as good as anything as far as preparation.
And it's worked. We mentioned the 6 hits already. 2 of them coming in this inning. Check that 3 this inning, actually. Parker, Emmett, and Thomas.
And Morales battling up there as usual. He gives you a good at-bat. He's going to fight. Doesn't go down easy.
It's 3 foul balls in a row. Usually a good sign for a hitter.
Continuing to elevate that pitch count.
Curveball. Morales was out in front and put it foul. Pretty good swing on it.
Wastes another good pitch.
1-2. Another foul ball. I've got it at 5 in a row and 4 with 2 strikes.
You know, even if he doesn't ultimately win this battle, this is still a great job for his team.
Yeah, he will get some high fives from the rest of the guys whenever he gets back to the dugout.
Got the Hoppers ace on the mound. You're contributing to elevating his pitch count. Seeing more and more pitches.
Eddington will take this one off. He worked Emmett back to the bag at second.
Tried the old inside move there. Not a bad idea. With 2 strikes and 2 outs, it wouldn't be unheard of for the runners to go if they thought they had a good jump.
It's 2-1 Mammoths. They scored in the first with Elijah Brown. Parker came across this inning on the RBI single from Tanner Thomas. Morales puts one into play. Porter's there, and that will be the 3rd out. Mammoths retake their lead. It's only 1 run, though. It's been entertaining, and that is your 5th 3rd out of the game, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. And even in the playoffs, JJ's still out there making his nightly water runs to our umpires.
JJ, ever the performer.
He is certainly a fan favorite.
Umpire Scott there behind second base. A little ditty about Umpire Scott. He actually threw me out of a game this year.
Really?
Not in the USPBL, a high school game. And I deserved it.
That was my next question.
I did. I deserved it. Nothing against Umpire Scott. One of those situations I was trying to fire up my team a little bit, and it was, just one of those. It was one of those days.
Chelsea's got the kid race to Mascot.
I think I just met my new best friend today. This is Landon. It's his first time here to Jimmy John's Field, and it's his birthday in 11 days, guys. So we really got to make sure we cheer for Landon tonight. And he's super fast. Are you ready, bud? Okay, on your mark. Ribby, you ready? Get set. Go! All right, Landon. Oh, he's looking back at Ribby. Landon, oh, careful. Getting a little excited. Oh, he's rounding second. Keep going. Ribby's catching up. Landon, you got to meet me at home at that high five we talked about. Are you guys cheering him on? He's so close. Come on, bud. One more. You're almost here. Ribby's catching up. Give me that high five. Oh, you smoked him. Good job.
Well, you would think with how many opportunities Ribby has had this year, his stamina would be a little bit more built up, but ultimately not. Landon beats him in the kid race to the Mascot here in Game 1 of the playoffs.
At least Ribby didn't trip today. We saw that once earlier in the year.
Yeah, he lost his head earlier in the year. We've had a couple Mascot injuries.
That's a tough day when
Buzz, I think, lost a foot at one point.
That's a tough day.
Yeah. 2-1 Mammoths lead it now here in the bottom of the 3rd, and that's perhaps the advantage that the Hoppers have, being a few games ahead in the standings. They will bat in the bottom half all night.
We can certainly find out for the folks if it plays out this way, but any word on if we're playing the normal sudden death extra inning here in the playoffs, or if it's altered at all?
Yeah, I haven't heard. I would imagine. That one's out to right. Leaf is going to make the grab on Christian Fedko. So we did hear from our director, PJ Gradowski, that if there is extra innings, it will be our typical 1/2 inning rule, which has been more than exciting this year. That's certainly something the Mammoths want to avoid. I believe their regular season record in the extra innings finished 1-11 or 1-10. Pup jackknifes out of the way. Ledbetter back out there for the 3rd after rolling his ankle and stumbling, being down for an extended period of time last inning.
Certainly nothing visible bothering him right now. He's throwing the ball pretty well since that injury.
I'd be interested to find out if he's okay or if he's playing through something when this game is all said and done.
Certainly been many examples over the course of history of pitchers fighting through things in the playoffs and doing a great job.
Two-0. Out into right. Thomas glides to his left and makes a catch on the run. Couple of flyouts to the outfield, 2 up and 2 down brings up Blake Porter. I think it's always interesting when you hear about an athlete in any sport, especially after the season's over or a playoff series is over, and you find out that they were, unbeknownst to you and everybody else, not even close to 100%. And we've had that happen numerous times.
Absolutely. I certainly remember from my Tigers front office days, Miguel Cabrera on a couple of occasions during playoff runs, that being a situation. I believe he had I think it was one of those sports hernia injuries one time where he was playing through it, and the guys in the clubhouse after had said that he was, black and blue, throughout his midsection and legs, just, not in any way healthy. And, just playing through it. And you could tell he was maybe fighting through something, not moving really well, but obviously during that era, 2012, 2013, having 80% of Miguel Cabrera is better than having 100% of most people.
Right. Porter waiting on the 0-2. Got him on swings. That's the 4th K for Ledbetter. He gets a 1-2-3 inning here in the 3rd. It's 2-1 Mammoths. We've played 3 here in Game 1 of the playoffs. Winner will take on the Beavers tomorrow. We head to the 4th.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Want to hit your home cleanup project out of the park? Well, making sure that your driveway is safe from damage? Rent a rubber-wheeled trailer from GFL and keep all of your bases covered. Our trailers come in 20 and 30-yard sizes for all your cleanup needs. Call GFL today to order your driveway-safe rubber-wheeled trailer. Team GFL, helping you win your cleanup project.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. TicketSmarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the TicketSmarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think TicketSmarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at TicketSmarter.com.
Nine-1 two-hitters, Bagneski, Brown, and Caruso in the 4th, facing Derek Eddington, who desperately needs a 1-2-3 inning if he's going to go any deeper than 4 or 5 and a start when they really need him to.
Bagneski did a nice job kind of pulling his hands inside and fitting a ball through the middle last time up. As we talked about, has a pretty good track record against these hoppers and getting on base. Makes a huge difference if you have a 9 guy who's on base regularly, turning that lineup over.
It's just so impressive, too, with the disparity between his season batting average and the one against the Hoppers on the ground on the first pitch. Fedko's there. It's 1 up and 1 down. 161 for Connor coming into tonight's game on the whole season, but as we mentioned, 333 against the Hoppers. He's now 1 for 2 with the ground out. Brings up Brown for the 3rd time in 4 innings.
How about that? Didn't think we'd have that type of game today. I really didn't.
And it's still close. Typically isn't the case. Gets caught on the curveball on the inside, 0-1.
Swung through a couple fastballs his last time up. We'll see if they take a similar approach with him here, down 0-1.
Fastball too high.
Still hovering around that 87, 88 quite a bit with his fastball today.
I think we've only seen a few at 89 or 90. Popped him up into shallow center. Porter on the run. It'll be Marcoux who takes it from the left side. Eddington on the right track. 2 up and 2 down in the 4th. There you see the flags, the pennants out there and left. Wind has been a non-factor so far.
Of course, the content of that flag right there, tough to read it on air right now, but 3 straight championships for the Unicorns, going for a 4th this year, and they are in the championship game on Sunday.
There's a few in attendance who were accepting their season awards. Certainly paying attention to the teams that they might face, scouting a little bit.
Of course, the Unicorns accustomed to it by this point, but always makes me a little nervous as a baseball coach sitting around for a long time before you have a big game.
It's the longest any team will have to sit all year, 8 days of rest.
I'm sure they're doing some things to combat that, you know, some live at-bats, things of that nature, but even so, nothing quite like game action.
I think the most any of these guys got was around the All-Star break. 4 or 5 days combined. That was a 1-game weekend on a Friday, and then the All-Star game was on Saturday, coupled with the home run derby.
Right.
Caruso waiting on the 2-1. That's high to make it 3 balls and only 1 strike. Popped him up. Fedko's there. And just what Eddington needed, 3 up and 3 down, keeps the score at 2-1 Mammoths. Hoppers batting in the 4th after this.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Colin Ledbetter had a 1-2-3 inning last time in the third. See what he can do against the heart of this Hoppers order, who's hungry for a run, trailing by 1. Marcoux, Burke, and Rivera in the bottom of the fourth. First pitch to Marcoux is fouled back.
Healthy cut. He didn't miss that one by much.
Unassisted ground out to the first baseman. First time up for Marcoux.
Gotta love Sam Loda's setup there behind the plate. Just very flexible, really nails that low strike. Very calm, good receiver.
1-1, fouled again. Loda's a one-knee guy. What they typically teach at the upper levels of baseball now.
Really turned fast, too. I remember in this league a couple of years ago, it was really starting to come in 2020, and I think the development staff, the coaches, they were kind of split about it. But now it's sort of like the standard.
It seems like the statistics really back up the one-knee approach, trying to steal that low strike. Gives you some decent mobility back there as well for blocking purposes. Swing and a miss. Marcoux down on K's. That's back-to-back, stretching to the last inning for Ledbetter.
Next up for the Hoppers, the first baseman, number 15, Joe Burke.
Burke didn't really have much of an at-bat last time up there. Got hit with the first pitch.
Only guy to come across for the Hoppers. Plated on the error in the second inning. Puts this one out into left. But Emmett's there.
Swung at the first pitch slider there, which seemed like he might have been looking for it. Took a pretty good hack and got a good piece of it. JJ into our screen. Is he going to pick that bat up? JJ's a little unsure if he wants that bat.
Sometimes he needs a little bit of help. Always seems to get the job done, though. Ledbetter has now retired 7 in a row, spanning back to the second inning.
My favorite, personally, is when JJ decides he wants the ball instead of the bat. every now and again, that'll happen.
Yadi Rivera struck out his first time up. Got caught looking on a backdoor slider from Ledbetter. I think that was the changeup.
Yeah, I think it was.
80 and straight from Colin.
Doesn't throw it much, but I think he throws it to the left-handers a little bit more often.
Yep. Now Rivera quickly behind. No balls, 2 strikes. Can't find it with the sinker outside.
See if he goes back to that backdoor slider. Yep.
Tried to. It's up the middle. Oh, botched by Bagneski, but he couldn't make the play. He hit Brown right on the glove, and it's dropped.
That was a very, very strange play. I don't know if Brown was maybe caught off guard by the throw. It's almost like when you saw him bobble the ball, he thought maybe there wasn't going to be a play anymore, and then it's like he wasn't really prepared for the throw there. And he would have had him. They would have had him out.
Goes up as an error. I imagine it's to Brown.
I would think so, yeah. Had he caught the ball, he would have been out. And that's very unusual. He's a solid defensive player.
Right.
So.
They've had a myriad of guys play over at first. Ledbetter wants to talk over the signs with Sam Loda. He had gotten 7 outs in a row, was on the verge of his second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. The error does officially go to Elijah Brown.
2 strikes, error like that, and a guy with this kind of power coming to the plate. This is the kind of thing that can turn around a season.
Yeah. Kreitzer Had a hard hit single to right center his first time up. Didn't get the RBI, but that was the batted ball that scored Joe Burke in the second inning. Slider away for ball one. Interesting here. Not sure if it's because of the runner on first. Mammoth's not in a full shift, but Bagneski is well up the middle, and Parker is off the line at third and deep. We've seen them full shift with 3 to the right on lefties a lot in the later half of the season, particularly just in August. And talked to Jellikowski. He said there wasn't really rhyme or reason behind it, except for they would just do it to the lefties. The placement of the defenders beyond the shift itself was not too scientific. This one's out into center. Thomas is there to make the grab. Fly out to center field. It still stays 2-1 Mammoths, even though the Hoppers do get a base runner. Yadi Rivera is stranded over there at first. Let's send it down to Chelsea Cooper, our in-game host.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed at Ticketsmarter.com.
Derek Eddington will head out there to start the 5th inning. He'll face that man, Houston Parker, along with Brian Leaf and Connor Emmett. And the 6 hits are reason to be concerned if you're pulling for the Hoppers, but the score still remains just a 1-run game.
Seems like he really settled in last inning, too.
Had his first 3 up and 3 down last inning. Parker takes a curveball on the doorstep for strike 1. Fastball still lower on the velocity with 86, misses high. One popped up and over our heads, makes it 1-2. Last time for Eddington, struggled with the walks a little bit. 3 walks and 4 Ks. Against these Mammoths, he did go 5 innings, giving up only just 1 hit. 1 run to go along with it.
Over the course of his career, Eddington has had a little bit of trouble with command. certainly back at Davenport University. Improved over the course of his career there, but certainly command was an issue at times.
I think the impressive thing for Derek tonight, that one's high on Parker, nearly got hit. He holds the single-season USPBL record with 18 plate appearances getting hit by a pitch. But for Eddington, the trend that we've seen is the walks tend to lead to more walks. The inning can unravel for him. That one's out of reach of any defenders, and he has 2 already tonight, but he followed the first one up with a strikeout, followed the second one up with a single, and then a strikeout and a flyout to end the inning. So he's responded well after the walks. They haven't compounded into more. Payoff pitch is well outside. There we see the command and another walk.
Yeah, I just over-rotated there a little bit.
A wedding shower party here at USPBL, enjoying some playoff baseball. That's a big group.
Matching T-shirts.
Yeah. Hopefully having fun. It's been a good game.
I involved a baseball game with my bachelor party way back in the day.
Yeah.
Wasn't the only thing we did, but
You guys check out a major league game?
It was a Tiger game when I was still working there. I took that night off, of course, but
I would hope you're not working on your bachelor party.
No, I wouldn't have been working very hard. Relatively common thing in the summer for summer bachelor and bachelorette parties, incorporate a ball game.
Always fun to get out to the ballpark as a fan in the summer. It's one thing I made sure to do at least once this year. Obviously, at Jimmy John's Field for most of the summer, working the games, and you lose a little bit of the fan appreciation. So I made sure to find my way down to Comerica, catch a Tiger game.
Yeah, I had a real hard time doing that when I was with the Tigers, but I really tried hard to force myself to get to Toledo or somewhere else. It's just it's so hard to enjoy the game the same way once you're working in the game.
Exactly.
You know, if you're not careful.
You can lose an appreciation for it, that's for sure.
Yep. I regret it now, but I hadn't been to Jimmy John's Field once until I was, recruited for my position here. But I certainly should have. I couldn't believe how nice it was the first time I got here.
Yeah, I remember coming here back in high school, either in 2016 or 17, one of the first few years here. Really impressed by this place.
It's certainly a very common thing for people to be surprised by how nice it is. I think in their mind they're thinking low-level minor leagues. They're picturing something like Bull Durham, the dusty old ballpark, but it's certainly not how it is.
Rinky-dink place, yeah. It certainly has the professional feel.
Yep.
It feels kind of like a major league environment.
All the suites and the cabanas and the prime diamond table seating on field level, all those kind of things certainly contributes to that that environment.
Leaf has fouled off a few in a row on this 1-2 count. He lets the curveball go, and that's just 2-2. Eddington also conscious of Parker with his speed over at first. 3 stolen bases on the year for Hootie. Two. High out into left. Marcou's got a long run, but he'll get there. Maybe a bad first break, but he collects it for the first out.
That's a big out. Had that ball gotten down, we had a totally different inning.
And with Parker's speed, probably first and third.
Yep. A little bit of action in the Hopper's pen, looks like. Is that looks like one of the left-handers down there.
Yeah, I can't quite
Ferry or Brace
from here. Probably Ferry.
I think it is Ferry.
Sam Brace has a pretty distinct delivery. Sure doesn't look like that from back here.
No, I'm pretty sure that's Ferry.
Emmett a swing and a miss for strike one. He's 1 for 1 plus a walk. Certainly expect Eddington to at least attempt to finish this 5th inning. 5 out of him from the way this game started would be pretty impressive. Faced 6 batters in the first, 5 in the second, 6 in the third. Has already given up 6 hits.
Certainly something of note, manager Ryan Kotke out with an illness today. John Dombrowski and Mike Rice in his stead. Talked to Ryan a little bit earlier today. He certainly feels comfortable with those 2 guys in charge. Feels like they have a great team and that those guys will handle everything perfectly today.
1 and 2, and if I know Kotke, I know he's probably not far from the phone either. A quick
I'm sure.
Text or call away.
Sure. John Dombrowski especially has a lot of experience in this league.
Coach at Wayne State. Very heavily involved locally with the baseball products at all levels. College, professionally here at the USPBL, works with a lot of high schoolers.
Yep, private lessons.
Primarily with the catchers. See him on Diesel Defenders on Instagram. Always enjoy seeing those clips and getting the insight and the insider information on the art of catching.
Absolutely. Kotke, a catcher as well.
Had a few catchers turned coaches in this league.
In every league, it seems.
Emmett puts it out into left. That's pretty deep. Marcoux stumbling, turning. He caught it. Do they call him? They do. He's out.
Wow. Great recovery. I thought that was doomed from the beginning, to be honest. He took a bad first step, got turned around, and then slipped on the track and was able to haul it in still.
What an effort to collect the second out from Noah Marcoux, twisting and turning. Made it as he was falling down. Goes in the book as a measly F7, but that's a big one.
From a left-handed bat, that ball's slicing toward the line a little bit, and his first step was back with his left foot, and it was just the wrong step, and he had to self-correct.
Parker was well off his spot. He was at second base when Marcoux made the catch, was able to get back to first safely. So Loda, who's struck out twice tonight, takes ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Sam. Back to your point, Dan, it does appear a lot of catchers stay in the game of baseball, and I think it has to do with that baseball mind that they almost need to have to be successful at that position. Talked about Jelly, Kotke, and Dombrowski. Josh Hines, assistant manager of the Beavers, was also a catcher. This one's out into center. The line out for Sam Loda. He's 0 for 3. Mammoths threaten with the runner, but Parker is stranded over at first. It stays 2-1.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. But yes, it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Colin Ledbetter heads out for the bottom of the 5th. We kind of expect that last half inning for Eddington to be his last, with some arms getting loose in the bullpen for the Hoppers. See what Ledbetter can do here in the 5th, maybe stretch this to 6 or 7.
As we spoke about before with each of these teams, they still have dreams of winning this championship, and for them to do so, they've got to win back-to-back-to-back nights, and that's not going to happen without some good long starts out of these guys.
Believe the only team to play 3 days in a row. Maybe it wasn't even 3. I think the Unicorns played 3 games in 4 days. Earlier in this season.
Earlier in the season, yeah. There's been a couple examples of teams playing in this game and getting to the finals in past seasons.
Certainly not unheard of, and I think that's expected when you look at how close the Hoppers and the Beavers were in the standings. The Mammoths, pretty unlucky in a lot of the close games. They had double-digit one-run losses this year.
Back in 2020, the Beavers were 3 seed and knocked off the Mammoths in the first game, and then upset the Hoppers on Saturday and had a lead late in the game against the Unicorns in the championship, but were not able to hold on. They just, what you'd expect, I mean, they kind of ran out of pitching at the end and were going really deep into their bullpen at the end of that game, and it cost them.
I think no matter what year, what roster, the Unicorns, if you have a lead against them, that's never safe. Schellenbarger, he'll wear that one. Couldn't tell if that hit the knee or the shin guard, what that sound was. That's the second hit batter for Ledbetter. The first one scored. It was Burke back in the 2nd inning.
Both were leading off innings, correct?
Yep.
You know, Scott Combs handles the bat pretty well. It wouldn't shock me if he laid down a bunt here.
Schellenbarger with decent speed. It doesn't show up in the stats, but he runs well. He's 2 for 2 on stolen bases this year.
Might be a little early to bunt in the 5th inning, but home team, the thought is you play for the tie. You've got last bats. You just want to do what you can to tie the game here at some point.
Combs, boy, did that slider ever find its way back into the zone. I think he thought he was about to get hit there. I certainly did.
Of course, this league not known for sacrifice bunting. It is a developmental league, but when you get into the playoffs, they're going to play to win it.
And there just haven't been very, very many base runners against this guy. Going against the pitcher of the year, got to take advantage when you do get somebody on, no matter how it is. Combs waits on the 1-2. High and in on the fastball, 88 with the sinker. Nobody loosening in the Mammoths bullpen. Ledbetter suffered that ankle twist back in the 2nd inning. He's been very good since then. Check swing, did he go? The appeal to first, they say he didn't. That was a close one. It's 3-2.
That was an awfully sharp slider right there. He's thrown some good ones today.
It's a second sharp one in this at bat. Swing and a miss. The back pick, too, on Schellenbarger. Ooh, it was close from Loda. He's been successful with that before. Almost doubled off the Hoppers there. It's a strikeout to Combs for the first out.
Seemed like Combs was thinking about that slider again there and was able to sneak that piece of cheese right by him.
He was in swing mode. That was probably ball 4. Ledbetter hasn't walked anybody tonight. We mentioned 2 hit batters. He's kept the free passes, other than those, at a minimum.
Fetko, another guy without a lot of sample size, only 13 games played, but has handled the bat pretty well.
3 for 5 in the final regular season matchup against these Mammoths. Single, double, and a home run. The hardest one to get is obviously the triple. There's never been a cycle in USPBL history. He was close. He and Pup both had their opportunities. Pup earlier in the season had each of the 3 bags, just didn't have the dinger, and he's only got 1 this year.
But has had some extra base power. He's over those 13 games, he's got as good of a slugging percentage as anybody.
.636 for Fedco with a .303 average. Flew out to right his first time up. Now waits on the 1-2. Wow, that slider came way back in for strike 3, and Fedco watched it go by.
Not much you can do about that. It looks like that ball's going to hit you in the shoulder, and then before you know it, it's over the inside corner. That's just a nasty pitch.
Yeah, even if you were to swing, I don't know how you'd connect on that one.
Yeah, that's the thing, is there's just not much you can do with that pitch.
Back-to-back Ks after Ledbetter plunked Schellenbarger, makes it 2 down, but the top of the order with Alex Pup. Pup takes strike 1.
Something that makes Ledbetter really tough is he's got that sharp slider, and the way to handle that for a righty is to try to take it to the opposite field. But if you start thinking too much about the opposite field, he's also the type of pitcher that likes to throw in. And that's a nasty combination. You know, you're thinking about staying on that slider and going to right with it, but then you get a fastball in on your hands. There's not much you can do with that.
There's the fastball dotted low and away.
Up to 91 with that one.
Has gone high and in a couple times already in this inning. Now up to 7 strikeouts for Ledbetter. 2 runs on 6 hits and a couple of errors for the Mammoths. For the Hoppers, only 1 run on 2 hits, no mistakes. This game is still close, 2-1. Pup puts this one little softly into center. That will drop. Schellenbarger holds at second base. Get it any way you can for Alex Pup with 2 strikes. He keeps the inning alive.
Hit them where they ain't. Starting to get into the heart of the order here.
2 on and 2 outs for Porter. 2-out hitting was something Ryan Kotke stressed early in the year when the Hoppers were going through one of their slumps. And they've shown a fight with 2 outs a couple times this year. Porter on the first pitch on the ground. Tough play. Morales gets it by. Schellenbarger trying to come around third. Stumbled a little bit at the bag. The throw is not in time. Now to third. Pup safe.
Yep, you said it. The wheels came off a little bit there coming around third, but he was able to recover and had a nice slide into home plate. Very aggressive base running by the Hoppers and paying off.
Pup nearly got caught again on the aggression and almost ended the inning at third base, but now it's runners on the corners after the RBI knock from Porter.
Got to wonder if Porter might try to steal second base here at some point. First, third, runs pretty well. Put some pressure on the defense.
He is 11 for 11 this season in stolen base attempts. Really good hitter at the plate as well.
Yeah, I mean, he may not do it on the first pitch. He may give Marcoux a chance to come out of his shoes on one that he likes first, but I would expect him to try to steal second base here at some point.
Try to negate the force out with 2 down. Marcoux's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. That one's outside. Runners do have to be attentive after the pitch with Loda behind the plate. Nearly got 1 runner earlier with a back pick, and he's done it a couple times in his short career.
There he goes.
There goes Porter. Marcoux swings at it. Pops it up on the left side. This is a tough play. It'll drop. Nobody called it. Parker and Emmett, a miscommunication. Pup scores, and the Hoppers have the lead.
Yeah, with the man running on the pitch here, he was able to easily get to third, but I don't know. To me, that's the left fielder's ball all the way. He's got to take charge on that one.
We just talked about it with 2 outs. That's something the Hoppers have focused on this year, and they get it in the 5th inning. Bit of a rally. Single from Pup, Porter, and then Marcoux.
It's a tough play, don't get me wrong, but I think if Emmett goes after that ball hard right away and takes charge on it, I think that's in his back pocket.
They often say it's easier to come in than go back, and I think Parker, you saw his arms kind of raise a little bit. I think he was expecting Emmett to call him off a little bit sooner, and he just never did. Inside 2-0. Have to defend Emmett a little bit with that dirt patch that you see out there in both left, center, and right. Just tends to get worn down as the year goes on. I actually was out there in batting practice and was able to see it up close. It's definitely not easy to get a good jump if you're in the heart of that.
The old natural grass surface becoming less and less common here in the north.
Yeah.
I think Joe Burke's going to come out of his shoes if he likes this pitch here.
He's got the hitter's count. 1st and 3rd. Popped it up. He almost did.
Yeah, he did take a healthy hack at that.
Still in a good count. This is the first at-bat he's seen more than one pitch. Got hit by the first pitch in the 2nd inning. Flew out to left on the first pitch in the 4th. It's Porter at 3rd and Marcoux at 1st. In on the hands. I think Burke knew that was a slider, and that was one of the few that didn't really slide back.
Yeah, that was an awkward swing. He would like to have that one back, but again, it's that slider in that location. That's just a really hard ball to handle, and with less than 2 strikes, you're probably just as well take that pitch.
Two-two, taken all the way for strike 3, 92 with the sinker on the outside. Burke doesn't like it. The Hoppers do score 2, though, in the 5th to change the momentum of this game. They now lead it 3-2.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
One thing that makes Detroit Mercy unique and different from other universities is that the faculty truly care about you and they're always there to help. Whether it's asking questions after class or going into the office hours, they're always there to lend a hand and really make you feel at home.
People are here to work together, and whether you have a question or you're discussing topics within the class, you can go up to your professor and they know your name. They're just willing to help you become a better overall student.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
We're looking at Carson Ferry coming in for the Hoppers in relief. Left-hander. Mentioned he was warming up last inning or so. He's been getting himself loose down there. Ferry out of Paw Paw, Michigan, Northland College. He'll be tasked with holding this lead for the Hoppers. In terms of Ferry's arsenal, certainly a guy that's tough lefty on lefty. Heavy with his fastball. Throws it about 78% of the time, actually, and he throws it hard. Average fastball velocity, almost 91 miles an hour. Max has gotten it up there, 93, 94 at times. And he'll look to go after these Mammoths hitters right now and keep his club in the lead.
So Eddington finishes with 5 complete innings, 4 Ks and 3 walks, only gave up 2 runs. Hoppers give Ferry a lead to work with here in the 6th. And Combs is going to talk it over with him. Short talk.
Bringing in the lefty here to face Thomas, who has 2 knocks on the day.
Fastball in for a strike. It's been quite a ride for Ferry this season. Started as a starter for the Hoppers, was second in line behind Pierce Banks, and he was only here for 1 game. That was opening day before he signed with the Minnesota Twins. Then Ferry took over the ace role and was an ace in every sense of the word for a good stretch of time. Then faltered a little, got in his head a little bit. Timing on the curveball was lost, and then suffered a groin injury that sidelined him for most of the second half of the season. He gets a strikeout here to Thomas to start his outing.
That fastball away at 91. See a lot of fastballs in general from Ferry.
Throws the 4-seam about just over 50% of the time. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong guy. It's actually 78% for
I was going to say, the 50 sounded light.
Right. Curveball, changeup, and slider to go with it. Mainly fastball, curveball, though.
Mitch Morales had a great at-bat his last time up there, fouling off pitch after pitch. And that's kind of his MO, is giving you a good at-bat. Doesn't chase a lot, has a good approach.
He fouled off 4 in a row on a 1-2 count before finally flying out to center. Swings and misses at the elevated fastball there, 90 from Ferry.
Action continuing in the Hoppers' pen, so this could be a short situational appearance for Ferry, possibly.
He missed about a month with that groin injury. Has had 3 appearances since then. They've all been in relief. Only one that went more than an inning. He went an inning and a third his last time out. That was back on the 31st of August. And the Hoppers said when he came back healthy that his role would remain in relief. Would not slide back into his starter position where he was before his injury. But he has looked good since coming back. On the ground to the right side, Burke underhand flip, but Ferry couldn't beat Morales to the bag.
Yeah, I could tell pretty early on in the development of that play he was going to beat him to the bag. He just didn't get a very good jump on that as a pitcher. It's tough, especially as a left-hander. You're finishing across your body, more toward third base. You got to regather yourself and get up the line.
Goes up as a hit. That's the 7th of the night for the Mammoths. One on and one out for Connor Bagneski. 1 for 2 tonight.
Swung first pitch his last time up there.
He takes this one 90 in the zone for strike one. Very deliberate with that delivery. That's in the dirt. Morales goes to second. Combs wasn't even going to try the throw. Now a man in scoring position.
Nice jump there by Morales. Good base running. You read that breaking ball down in the dirt. You know it's going to be a tough play for the catcher no matter what. And if you get an early jump on it, it's pretty easy base to take.
Mammoths trying to respond after giving up 2 in the 5th, losing the lead. First time the Hoppers have led all night. One. Bagneski shows bunt and pulls it back in time.
He can bunt. He can bunt for a hit as well as sacrifice.
Yeah, he's got enough speed to get down there to first if he lays a good one down. Takes high with the fastball. 3-1.
Even just the act of showing bunt will pull that third baseman in a little bit, make it just a little bit easier to hit the ground ball in the hole past him.
Rivera's maybe half a step in front of the third base bag.
Ferry out of Paw Paw, Michigan. Brendan, do you know the former Tiger who hailed from Paw Paw?
I do not. Are they current or
no? Former.
Former. How former?
Very before my time.
Very.
Even,
oh,
yeah.
Then you got me beat.
Okay. Charlie Paw Paw Maxwell.
Really?
Yes. Known for all things, known for hitting home runs on Sundays for some reason.
Huh.
Not sure how or why that.
Sunday hitter, huh?
Yeah.
Bagneski with a good at-bat there, works a full count walk. 2 on and 1 out for the top of the order and Elijah Brown.
Great opportunity here for the Mammoths to even out this ball game.
You played for a while. Did you ever feel better during a certain day?
No, I think it's very unusual, to be honest. I think in some cases you feel more tired with a day game after a night game, so I think someone liking Sundays is unusual in that regard.
Yeah, most Sundays day games.
Yeah, I think some guys got more starts on Sundays in the big leagues because some of the stars will sit those Sunday afternoon games. So the role type guys, perhaps like a Charlie Maxwell, would get more starts on a Sunday. I think a lot of hitters like day baseball in general, just being able to maybe see the ball a little bit better.
Yep. That's been a discussion in this league. Tough to pick it up at night sometimes. It's more in reference to when the side armor Keon Taylor for the Unicorns toes the slab.
Yeah, he's tough. He's tough all the way around.
His ball comes out of the scoreboard for a lot of guys. 2-0. Ferry misses again. 3 balls, no strikes. Has yet to give up an earned run since returning from injury, but he's in a bit of a jam here. 2 on, only 1 out, and 3-0 on Elijah Brown.
You let him swing here if he likes it? What do you think?
I think he's taken. Brown works a lot of walks. Thought about it. Ooh, he thought he had ball 4.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was taking automatic. Lefty on lefty, 3-0 count. I think I'd probably have him take in that situation.
It's been fastball heavy for Ferry. The velocity's been good. The command inconsistent through the first couple batters. Swings at that one. That's in play out into left. Tough play for Marcoux. Sliding. That's actually foul.
You know, it's a dangerous play, but I think he may have had a better chance catching that ball had he dove head first as opposed to sliding feet first as he did. But I certainly don't blame them for being reluctant doing that. That
Bullpen
wall,
over there.
yeah, the way that wall juts out by the bullpen, it's hard to know for sure how close you are to that wall, and nobody wants to go head first into that thing.
And a little bit of a disadvantage for the left fielder as opposed to the right fielder in a similar situation. The tarp spends its off days over there in left next to the bullpen. About 3 feet or so of less room where that is. Makes it a full count. Brown takes, and that's a walk to load the bases.
Certainly not the spot that Ferry wants to be in his relief appearance here. Bases loaded, only 1 out, and the 2-hitter, Nick Caruso, coming up with Houston Parker behind him.
So now Dombrowski and the entire infield will convene on the mound. Ferry's going to stay in there, it appears. Started this inning well. 3-pitch strikeout to Tanner Thomas, but that was followed up by a single and back-to-back walks.
If you're Ferry here, you just have to remind yourself, I'm only a pitch away from getting out of this thing. If you can get yourself a ground ball up the middle and turn over a double play, you're out of this thing.
What do you think the approach is for Caruso here?
The opposite of that. Looking for a ball that you can drive to the outfield. You certainly don't want to get out in front of one and beat it into the ground. You don't want to pull off one and get it on the end of the bat. You're looking for a ball out over the plate that you can drive into the outfield somewhere. At least tie this game is the minimum thing that you're trying to accomplish here. Drive something to the outfield, and even if it's a sacrifice fly, tie this game.
And you said it earlier, speed kills. There is speed at every base, including the plate. Caruso can certainly beat out a double play. It's going to be hard for the Hoppers to turn 2 if they do get one in the dirt.
But they're going for it. They're playing back in the middle.
Caruso takes down the middle with a fastball for strike 1.
That was the type of ball that I think he could drive.
Yep.
He may wish he had that one back.
Pops that one up out of play. 0-2 now. It's Morales at third, Bagneski at second, and Brown at first.
Hopper's playing in on the corners here, basically, which leads me to believe they're probably going to come home with it.
The 0-2. Fastball middle, smoked out to left. Caruso, a grand slam!
That was a no-doubter. He barely got out of the box there. He knew it was out. That ball just hammered.
4 will come across, and it's not exactly a home run trot because they are hyped up. The Mammoths take their lead right back at 6-3.
That's as big as they come right there from the local boy, Nick Caruso, and he knew he got every bit of that. That's he turned toward his teammates in the dugout as soon as it came off his bat. And that's a tough break there for the Hoppers.
Unbelievable, an 0-2 count. Caruso let the first fastball go by. Second one he fouled back.
Looks like that's going to be it for Ferry now too.
Dombrowski's going to pull him, and now still only 1 out in the inning. They got to face the 3-hole hitter in Houston Parker.
A lot of ball game left. I'm sure Diesel's telling his guys right now, no problem. We got 4 at-bats left here, fellas. Let's just hold it right here.
Ferry comes out. It'll be Luke Drummond after the grand slam. A pitching change for the Hoppers. We'll take a break. It's now 6-3 Mammoths in the 6th.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
One thing that makes Detroit Mercy unique and different from other universities is that the faculty truly care about you and they're always there to help. Whether it's asking questions after class or going into the office hours, they're always there to lend a hand and really make you feel at home.
People are here to work together, and whether like you have a question or you're discussing topics within the class, you can go up to your professor and they know your name. They're just willing to help you become a better overall student.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Drummond takes over now, trailing by 3 runs thanks to Nick Caruso, the designated hitter of the Mammoths. A 1-out, 0-2 grand slam, no doubter over the left field wall to retake the lead for the Mammoths. And Dan, we talked about Nick earlier. I mean, how about that grand slam? He struggled mightily at the start of the year. The batting average was as low as 160 at one point. And was just having trouble finding the open spots, really turned it around, you know, as the season continued on, was finding the gaps. But the power wasn't there. He had his first home run of the year 2 games ago in the regular season against the Beavers. And then in probably the biggest at-bat he's had this season, grand slam to make it 6-3 here in Game 1 of the playoffs.
Well, that could be one of the biggest at-bats of his life, really. He was in a situation where I think he was really just looking to get the barrel out and get a ball into the outfield and try to tie this game maybe with a sacrifice fly, but he just put a good swing on a good pitch and it jumped off his bat.
All season, he's been one of the best percentage-wise at barreling the baseball.
Yep.
Even when he was struggling at the start of the year. It was just so many contact outs, line outs, and fly outs to the outfield.
Yeah, just in general, great bat-to-ball skills, good contact guy. Wouldn't be surprised if he had some family and friends in the crowd today, too. Sterling Heights guy out of De La Salle, and really took advantage of a big moment there. I'm sure just a great feeling for Nick Caruso.
Has to feel good, too. He missed significant amount of time due to a pretty gruesome groin injury back when he was catching. Hasn't caught since coming back except for 1 game with the Unicorns when they needed some help. Parker puts this one up the middle. This inning won't end as Houston Parker single into center.
And we're past the 2-hour mark, I think, of this game, only in the 6th inning.
First pitch was at a 7-11, now 9:15 Eastern time here in Michigan.
And in the postseason here, I believe we play the full 9 no matter what, unlike the normal regular season 2.5-hour rule.
Strap in, partner.
Yeah. We got fireworks after this baby, too.
Fireworks might have to come before the end of this game. They had to do that last season in this 3-versus-4 matchup. Take a little break to
I hope not.
Do the fireworks. Yeah.
No, that's not nobody likes that kind of thing too much, but
that's not baseball.
No.
Leaf on the ground. This could be a double play for the Hoppers. If they go quickly, there's one at second first. Leaf has enough speed to beat it out, but they get the lead runner.
Yeah, just wasn't hit hard enough to turn that one over.
Putout goes 5-4 for the second one.
Hadn't talked a lot about Luke Drummond yet on the mound, but guy with a little bit of a awkward delivery, kind of a different window that he comes out of. Throws his fastball about 60% of the time. Averages a little over 88 miles an hour with it. Pretty heavy with his curveball, too, about 28%.
The main one is the 2-seam. He does have a 4-seam that's around 7%, but as you mentioned, mainly 2-seam and curveball. There's a split change that's mixed in there as well. Ball and a strike on Emmett. 1 for 2 and a walk.
Of course, Emmett hit that ball to left field where he was falling down as he made the catch. Difficult redirection there in left.
Leaf faked like he was going to go. Eventually stopped. Was fouled back anyways. Already 8 batters sent to the dish here in the 6th. Mammoths have responded in a big way after losing the lead last inning to the Hoppers.
And we'll see shortly how the Hoppers respond to this.
Now Leaf goes on the 1-2. That's fouled right in front of the plate.
Certainly had that stolen had he not had he not fouled it off. Pretty big jump.
Leafs 5 for 5 in that category. Popped up on the left side. Long run for Marcoux over there by the bullpen again.
Oh.
Can't grab it.
I think he was right in front of the tarp. Didn't have to reach over the tarp, I don't think.
Very similar spot where he almost had that sliding catch. It's now 3 foul balls in a row for Connor Emmett. Some young fans who were near that one. I don't see anybody with a souvenir there.
No. Nice crowd tonight.
They've all stayed for this entertaining game, even though it's been a longer one so far. That one's hit hard but high into right. Schellenbarger on the run, so is Porter. Schellenbarger calls him off for the 3rd out. Nick Caruso, 4 RBIs on 1 swing, his 2nd home run of the year. It's a grand slam to make it 6-3, Mammoths leading.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
GCG Empire Wire Supply.
6-3, Ledbetter now working with a lead. Gave up 2 runs last inning to lose the lead. And Dan, it seemed like before the top half of this inning, the story might have been, you know, for the Mammoths, 2 of the 3 runs the Hoppers have scored kind of on miscues. Obviously, the one on the error back in the 2nd. And then between Parker and Emmett, nobody calling off that pop fly into shallow left last inning. But instead, it's Nick Caruso and his grand slam giving the Mammoths a cushion here in the 6th.
Yeah, but ultimately it's a story of starting pitcher Colin Ledbetter keeping his team in the ball game. And you can always wait around for that home run. Sometimes it works out.
Smoked into right by Rivera. Home run distance, but foul. A long strike makes it 1-1. And it'd be easy to forget that Ledbetter twisted his ankle, and it really didn't look good at first in that 2nd inning when Joe Burke scored.
Keep in mind, too, on the Hopper side, a lot of what led to that inning was working long at bats previous in the game. You know, you drive up the pitch count on the starting pitcher and you end up having to go to the bullpen, and that plays into all of those runs.
Rivera chopped that one right in front of him. Tough play on the run for Morales, but he makes it look relatively easy. 4-3 for the first out. Eddington didn't have an inning facing less than 5 batters until the 4th, and you can't help but feel like if there was 1 3 or 4 batter inning mixed in those first 3, that maybe, he comes out for the 5th or the 6th.
Sure.
Ledbetter still working here in the bottom of the 6th against Kreitzer. That's a slider on the back door for strike 1.
Of course, we'll be keeping our eye on him as this game advances. How far is he going to go?
Nobody in the Mammoths' pen still. Hopper's pen is crowded. Kreitzer the opposite way into left. Emmett has to just go a few steps back, just short of the warning track.
And as the game advances, the Hoppers start to grip their bats a little bit tighter. It's win or go home, and as you start to get within 6 outs, 9 outs of this thing being over, it puts a lot of pressures on the hitter.
It's down to Schellenbarger here in the 6th. Bryant grounded out his first time up, was hit by a pitch and scored last inning. Ledbetter on the 0-2, got him swinging. 1, 2, 3 again for Colin Ledbetter. Follows up a big offensive inning with a good defensive one. We'll head to the 7th. It's 6-3 Mammoths.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard. And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends, and the available hands-free liftgate is perfect for loading unhandy supplies. It may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction wherever I go.
Lease a 2022 Blazer 2LT for just $239 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at Ticketsmarter.com.
Boy, it can't be sleeping through this one. Maybe a little too much ice cream in the early innings.
Perhaps sister's got a helmet
going.
full of ice cream there.
Yeah, she's still going. He isn't going to watch the rest of this one.
Well, it is 9:30.
Yeah, it's late. Past his bedtime, perhaps.
Fireworks might wake him up later.
Loda, Thomas, and Morales, after a big 6th inning, will bat here in the 7th against Drummond.
Chase the curve away.
Drummond came in for Ferry after the grand slam to Caruso. Gave up a single, but then was able to get the next 2 outs. Ahead 0-2.
Same pitch back to back.
Been a tough night at the plate for Loda, 0 for 3 with a couple of Ks. Fights that one off the hands.
He's getting a steady diet of breaking balls here from Drummond. See if he tries to sneak a fastball by him here and surprise him. He may. Catcher's inside. Yep.
Did go in there, and that's strike 3.
Tough day for Loda, but if he keeps up his usual defensive play and the Mammoths pull this out, he's going to have another shot tomorrow.
He has been really good defensively. Maybe the offensive struggles are our fault a little bit. Announcer's jinx seems to be everywhere.
Tanner Thomas with a couple knocks on the day.
Although I called a soccer game last night, a women's game up at Michigan State against Oakland. Both teams really good defense, really good goalies, some of the best in the nation. And that was the storyline. You know, we talked about it the whole game, and towards the end I was kind of hoping maybe we'd jinx it and get a goal.
Yeah.
And it ended a 0-0 draw.
Is that
and
right?
There was only 2 total shots on goal in the game.
Oh my gosh.
So that time we just looked smart.
Wow.
Thomas is 2 for 3 with an RBI. The one was a strikeout last inning to start the inning. 3 pitches to Ferry. Looked like it was going to be a better inning for him. That would be the only out he would record.
Well, you can call me American, but I don't really understand soccer so well. You know, I
smoked out into right. Schellenbarger has to watch it drop. 1 on and 1 out now for Morales.
Were you a soccer fan prior to calling soccer?
Actually, no. I mean, you know, you get into this business and you kind of have to take whatever you can
Sure.
get, and fall at college is soccer and volleyball and football season.
Yep.
The football reps are obviously limited. There's plenty of soccer games on both the men's and women's side, and certainly I'm not a soccer fan in my free time, but I have an appreciation and an enjoyment when I do get to call the games or work them in another capacity.
Certainly enjoyed watching the U.S. women's soccer team over the years, World
yeah.
Cup and Olympics both.
Yeah.
Very successful program.
Wild pitch sends Thomas to second. I actually played youth soccer the longest of any sport besides basketball. But was never a fan of watching it, really.
Yeah, I suppose that puts us in the minority worldwide. Certainly
Right, yeah.
an incredibly popular sport.
Doesn't feel like it here in America, but
sure.
It is growing here in the States.
Yes.
I've met a lot of people since being up at school. Big soccer fans.
Oh.
Drummond now has Bagneski caught. They'll try to go to third.
Hit him.
Oh, they hit him with the ball. He's going to be safe at third. Morales was heads up and went to second. Oh, no. That's just not what the Hoppers needed. They had a chance to even maybe get a double play there with Morales. He just went for second base, thinking Bagneski was probably going to be out going for third.
Really didn't handle that rundown well from the beginning. You know, for one thing, I thought he made the first throw too soon. Really,
Yep.
if you're the pitcher and you're holding that ball, you really want to run him back to second base a little bit more before you make that first throw. And they were making those throws from just much further away than you normally want to in a rundown.
Now the infield comes in with second and third and only 1 down.
Of course, if you're the Hoppers, you figure you really can't give up another run here, so you have no choice but to play in now, but it's very tough defensively. Not only is a ball more likely to get through, but if a ball does get through, the man on second's going to score easily because he's got no way of being held on now, so he's got a very healthy lead now at second base. He can go as far as the shortstop is.
Checked it. Combs wants an appeal. He won't win it.
Base hit here could go a long way in putting this one away for the Mammoths.
Already a couple of insurance runs on the board from the Caruso Grand Slam. 2-1. 3 balls and a strike.
Bagneski pretty good at driving the ball through the middle, and with the infield in here, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he hits one past the pitcher into center field for 2 RBIs.
Again, speed at both bases for the Mammoths. That's almost always going to be the case. This one's hit high into center. Porter charging. He's got a good arm. He'll take it. Thomas faked the tag. It's cut off by Burke.
Yeah, which is not quite deep enough.
That's the second out on the flyout from Bagneski. Now we'll go back to the top of the order with Brown.
If the Hoppers can wiggle out of this one here, that's going to keep them in the ball game and possibly give them some momentum heading into the bottom of the 7th here. Or is it bottom of the 7th, right?
Yes.
I was thinking,
yeah.
For some reason, I had a double take there. This game has gone so long. I was
Right.
thinking maybe it was the 6th still.
Brown takes inside 1-0. His 5th at bat tonight. Has a walk as well as a single. Scored both times that he reached. Swings and misses at that fastball. Breaking ball finds its way into the zone, 1-2. Drummond a strike away from getting out of this jam. Pitch outside. On the ground right side, Burke with a nice pick on the backhand. He'll step on the bag himself. Good defensive play to rid the danger. It's still a 3-run lead for the Mammoths. 7th inning stretch time here on the US PBL network. Get ready to sing along with us. Feel free at home. Take Me Out to the Ball Game, brought to you by Genesis Credit Union. Me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. So it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. 7th inning stretch here for game 1 on championship weekend. The Mammoths lead it by 3 as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Combs will lead it off in the 7th for the Hoppers. Swings and misses at the slider. Colin Ledbetter sticking out there for the 7th inning. Jelly banking on advancing in the playoffs, trying to save his bullpen for tomorrow.
It's going to be all hands on deck if they're going to win 3 games, that's for sure. Certainly the type of start that they wanted out of Ledbetter. He's done a nice job. Kept him right in it as we expected.
9 strikeouts already for Colin. 2 of them coming to Combs in this game. Boy, that slider almost found its way back over the plate.
He's just so comfortable with it. Comfortable throwing it to both sides of the plate. He's comfortable throwing it in all spots on the count. It's very difficult for a hitter.
2-1. Smoked high and foul. I think that's going to get out of play. It will.
He's also very adept at throwing that fastball in 89, 90, 91, and then coming back with the slider away. It's just when you're working both sides of the plate, you're working 2 or 3 different pitches. It's very hard to get the barrel to the ball consistently.
Fouled back again on the 2-2. 9 strikeouts for Ledbetter is a career high for him. Has a couple 7K innings. None as high as 9.
I'm glad I don't have the job picking player of the game today, because between Ledbetter and Caruso, it's really tough to make that choice.
Up and in makes it 3-2.
So far, of course. We got 3 at-bats here left for the Hoppers. Not going to count them out.
I think it's interesting to notice, too, Ledbetter, when he first suffered that injury, we heard from our director of baseball operations, Shane McCaddy, that it was actually a knee, kind of hyperextended it. Only had 2 strikeouts then, so he's matched his career high after hyperextending his knee in the 2nd inning.
It's a strange game, baseball. I believe you said it was the left knee, correct? So
yeah.
the landing, kind of the landing leg.
3-2, this one's put in play into right. Leaf grabs it. Fedko is also 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Only 2 batters that Ledbetter hasn't struck out at least once tonight. It's Nick Kreitzer and Alex Pup.
Not a lot of productivity from the bottom of the Hoppers order yet today. That's, if that doesn't turn around here, it's going to prove to be a problem.
The only guy to reach from the bottom was Schellenbarger, and that was on a hit by pitch in the 5th. He would score as well, but no base hits from the 7, 8, or 9 hitters.
So often throughout all levels of baseball, whether it's high school or the major leagues, that bottom of the order can really make the difference in a playoff format. Just finding a way to get on for the big boppers coming up at the top.
Fedko in a good count to get the first base hit for them. Takes a fastball for a strike. Outside now 3-1. He's able to lay off the slider.
He took his K looking on a slider in last time up.
And he'll just take a walk here.
Certainly not what Ledbetter wanted there. You don't want to walk the 9-man when you got a 3-run lead for yourself.
That is his first walk tonight with 1 out in the 7th inning. An impressive run for Ledbetter, and there's still nobody getting warm.
Yeah, they're letting him keep the ball here, it looks like, at least for the foreseeable future. His game to win or lose.
He does have 2 complete games this year. I believe they're both in double headers, which are just 6 innings.
Right.
According to Flight Scope data, he has not gone more than 7 complete. He's on the verge of doing that in this inning, barring a longer one. Pup takes the 0-1 in the zone, no balls and 2 strikes. Seventh inning brought to you by Valpak here on the US PBL Network. The 1-2.
Didn't miss by much.
Pretty close under the zone. Pup took it. Trying to wait for his pitch. Full count now. Fedko faked at first like he was going to go. I think if that wasn't a pitch that Loda probably had to stretch for, we likely see him toss down on a back pick over there to first. Fedko was pretty far off. Right as we mentioned it, there's some action in the bullpen. This is going to be pitch 96 from Ledbetter. And we'll wait an extra second for it. Fouled back as Pup jumped on the slider.
Good spoil. That ball tied him up inside a little bit, but with 2 strikes, he had to do something with it. Three, 2, 1 out.
And the full count. Up the middle. Oh, what a grab, and they're going to get a double play. How about Mitch Morales?
Sometimes it's just not your day.
That might have just done the Hoppers in. It would have been at least first and second with only 1 out. And instead, it's a line out to the second baseman, and they get Fedko doubled off, and no fault of his own. It's 6-3 still as we head to the 8th.
One thing that makes Detroit Mercy unique and different from other universities is that the faculty truly care about you, and they're always there to help. Whether it's asking questions after class or going into the office hours, they're always there to lend a hand and really make you feel at home.
People are here to work together, and whether you have a question or you're discussing topics within the class, you can go up to your professor and they know your name. They're just willing to help you become a better overall student.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood, because strong neighbors mean stronger communities.
Where good neighbors do great things.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Mammoths may have just sealed this game with that spectacular double play by Mitch Morales over there at second. They lead it 6-3 with a chance to add it here in the 8th. Thanks to this guy, Nick Caruso, a grand slam, his last time up.
It is a game of inches. I mean, that ball, just as easy as it ended up in his glove, it could have been in the right center field gap. Might have second and third, 1 out, instead out of the inning. That's baseball for you on a ball that was scorched.
Swing and a miss makes it 0-2, and that doesn't really mean anything. Caruso's grand slam came on an 0-2 count against Carson Ferry. That one's in the dirt.
Nothing hurts quite like a 0-2 home run. My father, the longtime coach at Grosse Pointe South, I don't think anything bothers him more than an 0-2 base hit. let alone a grand slam.
Caruso caught looking here. Well, when it's time for baseball, it's time for beer. Two Hearted Ale has been rated the #1 brewery by the American Homebrewers Association. A couple years running now. Play ball with the best. Bell's Two Hearted Ale. Iconic brewery in Comstock, Michigan. Deep out to center field. Porter going back. He'll make the grab. Parker gave it a ride out to the warning track. That's the second out, though.
Hit that one about a good 385, I'd say.
And again, wind not a factor. Hasn't been any help for these hitters tonight. Drummond trying to make quick work of these Mammoths here in the 8th. Hoppers have some work to do. Down by 3. Leaf, a little flare up the middle. That's going to take a bounce. Fedko on the bare hand. No, Leaf is going to beat it out again.
What a strange base hit. That's the kind of base hit you see in, like an 8-year-old game or a 9-year-old game. And I don't mean that in a put-down way on the Hoppers defense. It's just you don't see a ball hit that weakly into a base hit very often in a professional game.
Leaf beat out his last one as well on the what would have been a double play. Reached on the fielder's choice, so he keeps it in and alive for Connor Emmett.
Leaf not a guy known for weak base hits either.
Faked like he was going to go. It's 0-1 on the foul ball. Now Leaf does go, and it hits Emmett right on the knee. He just took it. The Hoppers were near getting out of this inning, but it's not over yet.
Not a lot hurt there, really, in hindsight. He pretty much had that base stolen anyway, so that practically amounted to having an open base there.
It's Mike DeSanti getting warm in the bullpen for the Hoppers.
Loda having a very tough day at the plate.
Oh for 4 with 3 Ks is Sam tonight. Mammoths with 6 runs on 11 hits. There has been 1 minimum inning tonight for the Mammoths. Loda's the 5th to come to the plate here in the 8th.
I'm sure it's worked for him over time, obviously, including in this league, but Loda's set up at the plate, it just looks very rigid to me. Seems very hard to, relax your muscles in that kind of a position.
It's really low. Pokes that back side out pretty noticeably.
Just seems like everything's sort of engaged in that position. You can't really take a deep breath and stay calm as the pitcher's going through his motion.
Two and two. Got him. Strike 3. Loda watched it. Drummond gets a pair of looking Ks in the 8th. Doesn't let anyone come across despite 2 base runners. Hoppers running out of chances in the bottom of the 8th. They're down by 3.
joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Porter, Marcoux, and Burke will face the starter, Colin Ledbetter, here in the 8th inning. No starter has gone a full complete game in a 9-inning game this year. Ledbetter is over 100 pitches now. We'll see how far he gets in the 8th.
Well, this is really the inning here. You've got the heart of the order. You've got Ledbetter kind of running on fumes a little bit. If this thing's going to happen for the Hoppers, I feel it has to happen right now. And don't try to do too much. You know, at times during this game, it feels like they've tried to do too much, taking an extra base, maybe swinging out of their shoes a little bit, just string together a few base hits, get a base runner or two, and maybe you run into one and hit it over the left field fence, and we've got a tie game. It's not that far out of reach. You just need a couple of base runners.
It looks like Dawson Lane just getting loose. He's not throwing out there in the Mammoths bullpen yet.
You know, this Hoppers lineup, they've got 3-4 guys that can certainly hit the ball over the fence without stretching your imagination too much. If, Porter and Marcoux find a way to get on here, this game's not over.
That slider just missed outside. 3-1 for Porter. 1 for 3 tonight. Swings and misses to fill the count. His one was an RBI single in the 5th. That came with 2 outs. Plated pup. Full count. Wow. Swing and a miss. The 10th strikeout. Ledbetter touches double digits. Comes back in the at-bat to do so and gets the leadoff man in the 8th.
Referenced it before. Any count, any situation, he's just willing to throw both of his pitches. He's willing to throw to either part of the plate. Just a very confident young man.
That is number 10. And I'm now noticing on my scorebook, last inning, the 7th, it was a 1-2-3 thanks to the double play from Morales, but that was also the first inning tonight that Ledbetter did not record a strikeout. Has had at least one in every inning so far. 1-0. Sounds like a broken bat. Shallow into center. What a grab. Bagneski bobbling it a little bit, it looked like, but he makes the play.
You know, it just has a feel of not being the Hoppers' day today. You know, it seems like the close balls are landing in the Mammoth gloves, whereas that's not happening on the other side.
Burke will step up with 2 outs and try to spark a rally. Oh, and he's hit for the 2nd time tonight.
Seems like the book on Burke is to try to crowd him with that fastball a little bit. And obviously he missed his spot there. He certainly doesn't want a base runner here when he's up 3 in the 8th inning. He's not going to first base. Did that hit his bat?
I was about to say, did he avoid that?
Or did?
Wow.
Did he avoid it? It sure looked. That ball started so far inside. I almost gave up on it with my eyes, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to hit him for sure.
Now he fouls another one inside.
Yep.
Yeah, he must have hit his bat looking at the replay.
Well, if it did hit his bat, why isn't it 0-2 on the scoreboard unless the scoreboard is just wrong?
Yeah. Maybe he just avoided it completely.
Yeah, I guess he
was
did.
Taken for a ball.
Because that's a strike right there, and we're 1-2, so I guess he did avoid, did miss it.
Ledbetter has hit 2 guys tonight, Burke being one of them. Now the 1-2, smoked out to left field. That's high and deep, traveling, and that one's going to go. Joe Burke with a solo shot to inch the Hoppers closer late in this ball game.
Well, he's got that type of power. That's certainly a big part of his game right there. Of course, the Hoppers wish they had a man or two on base right now. They still have a little ways to go to tie this one up, but a nice jolt there from Joe Burke for his club. See if it can get the Hoppers going.
That's hopefully going to breathe some life. Looks like Burke and Kreitzer are fired up. It's just a 2-run game now.
If Rivera finds a way to get on and Kreitzer gets to the plate as the tying run, we're going to have a exciting moment here on our hands.
Boy, 2 runs just feels a lot different than 3 for some reason, especially this late in the game. Rivera reached on an error in the 4th. Hasn't reached any other appearance. Has a strikeout and a ground out. Big hack there makes it 1-2. Even after the home run, Ledbetter is going to try to finish this 8th inning. 10 strikeouts for him tonight, just 1 walk. Possibly his last batter. Rivera into right. Leaf has to come in a few steps and will make the catch. Colin Ledbetter with a really good day. We'll see if it's over through 8 complete. Mammoths surrender a run, but they still hold a 2-run lead. Their last chance to add to that in the top of the 9th after this.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
What makes Detroit Mercy so unique is the fact that it's in the middle of Detroit, and especially with their service learning programs, you really get a chance to be a part of the community.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
Mike DeSanti gets the 9th inning for the Hoppers, trying to hold this deficit where it is. It's 6-4 here in our single elimination game 1 of championship weekend. The winner advances to play the 2-seeded Beavers tomorrow at 7:05.
DeSanti with a very important job here to keep his team in the ball game, give him a shot in the 9th. Arsenal-wise, he's very heavy with his fastball, over 70% of the time between his 2-seamer and his 4-seamer, and he throws them hard. 92-94.
Sliders right around 20% for Mike. It's been consistently one of the best velocity fastballs in the league. Almost every time 93 or more. He has struggled a little bit with the long ball, 4 home runs this year. Opponents slugging .360 against him. That's around league average. The command has slipped a little bit in the second half of the season, but he's been the flamethrower and the mainstay to close out games for the Hoppers this season.
Looking ahead to that bottom of the ninth, not to get ahead of ourselves, but the Hoppers will be going 6, 7, 8 in the lineup. Nick Kreitzer, the 6-hitter, a big home run threat, but they're down 2, so he can't tie the game with one swing of the bat. That's certainly something notable about the bottom of the ninth, that 2-run lead so important right now for the Mammoths.
It's 7-8-9 for the Mammoths here in the ninth, starting with Tanner Thomas, who takes strike 1. Singled his last time up. He's 3 for 4 tonight. A trio of singles to go along with 1 strikeout. Fouled back. And Dan, we talked earlier about the lack of production from the bottom of the Hoppers order, and you look at the overproduction almost from the bottom of the Mammoths order. Tanner Thomas is 3 for 4. Mitch Morales is 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored and a fantastic defensive play. Connor Bagneski has reached twice in 4 at-bats and scored once.
Well, you got to give Taylor Jellikowski some credit so far for pushing the right buttons. You know, the choices that he made with his lineup, Bagneski being in there in the 9 spot. You know, Morales, a guy who doesn't have great stats, but certainly somebody just using the eyeball test, you know, looks like gives you a nice chance for a good, successful at-bat. Tanner Thomas, same thing. You know, not always the best results all year, but a guy with some pull power that gets a pretty good hack up there. They've pushed the right buttons today, and this has been their day so far.
Down on swings goes Tanner Thomas.
Morales out of Utah Valley. I made a point of, for some reason in my mind, I remembered something about Utah Valley, and I looked it up, and I did actually play a game there.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not. Some good news, some bad news. I was 3 for 3, but we lost the game on a walk-off home run. Utah, kind of an interesting place to play, especially in the spring, because you can see the snow-capped mountains out there, but you're playing baseball. Kind of an interesting setting.
Up the box. Pup slides over. Nice play at short. Deep in the hole behind second. Pup makes the play for the second out.
So smooth and a nice, quick, strong release. You can see why he was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, why he's a USPBL All-Star.
I'll bring up Bagneski with 2 outs. Final opportunity for the Mammoths to get a little bit more insurance. They've had the momentum this entire game for the most part, other than the few literal minutes that the Hoppers led from the bottom of the 5th to the top of the 6th before Nick Caruso's grand slam. But we've had crazier things happen. Certain Mammoths fans and their coaches would feel much more comfortable adding to this lead. We'll see what happens on the mound, too, if Ledbetter comes out. We haven't had official word, but it sounds like no pitcher in USPBL history has gone 9 complete innings.
I don't personally remember one. I've only been around the league for 3 years now, but I know back in 2020 the games were exclusively 7 innings during that COVID year, so it certainly didn't happen that year.
A ball and 2 strikes. Bagneski waits. Off speed misses inside.
Generally, guys are on fixed pitch counts through much of the year, which takes away that possibility of a complete game.
Two 93 with the fastball, skips its way to home plate. Full count now. The payoff pitch for Bagneski. And DeSanti walked him. With 2 down, the inning stays alive again for the Mammoths. They'll get a base runner.
I'm sure Ledbetter will be politicking to go back out there. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure in his mind he's figuring he can rest the whole offseason if he needs to.
There is nobody throwing in the bullpen. I think Ledbetter's going to come out for the 9th. First pitch, Bagneski goes. Combs, a good throw down. It's a little right of the bag. Now Bagneski's going to go for 3 as it squirts away. He'll coast into third base standing up. And with 1 pitch, the Mammoths have a runner 90 feet away trying to get some insurance.
Yeah, all of a sudden I got a shot to tack on here. This would be a huge run. 2-run lead, you're certainly more comfortable than a 1-run lead, but if somebody gets on base, now you're thinking about the home run tying the game. You know, you get 1 more run here, it certainly helps you feel better.
Brown took the first pitch for a strike. Late on that fastball, 0-2. How about Drummond? He relieved Ferry after the grand slam. Went 2 2/3, scoreless with only 3 hits. Didn't walk anybody and struck out 3 batters. Pretty good to still keep the Hoppers at shouting distance in this game. The 1-2. In the dirt again, 2-2. I was talking to Dan. He found out there were a few 9 innings from some other guys a while ago. 2-2. Again, high. DeSanti was ahead on Bagneski and then fell behind 3-2 and walked him. Similar opportunity here against Brown. Bagneski waits at third after the stolen base. An errant throw. Brown checked his swing. He got called for strike 3. He thought it was too high in ball 4. That ends the inning and threat right there. It's the Hoppers and their last chance to stay alive this season after this.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter.
a proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. TicketSmarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale, all backed with the TicketSmarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think TicketSmarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at TicketSmarter.com.
Colin Ledbetter started this game for the Mammoths. He comes out to try to finish it and extend their season into tomorrow against the Beavers here in the 9th. He'll go against Kreitzer, Schellenbarger, and Combs. That's barring any substitutions off the bench for John Dombrowski and his squad. Kreitzer waiting on the 1-0. Out into left. That's going to carry a little bit too much, and Emmett can make the grab.
Emmett had him played right. Was pulled over a little bit towards center field in that left center gap.
So we were discussing if we had any 9-inning complete games. We did learn there were a few. Donnie Murray in 2016, the opening season here at the USPBL, threw a no-hitter for 9 innings. As well as Randy Wynn in the 2017 championship game. He threw 9 complete innings.
Randy Wynn, of course, went on to the Cincinnati Reds organization. Was signed in, I believe, prior to 2019.
Ledbetter, just 4 runs on 6 hits, 10 strikeouts, and only 1 walk. He didn't walk a single batter until the 7th inning. Schellenbarger takes outside.
Well, a little premature, but I got to give my vote for player of the game to Ledbetter over Caruso. Obviously, Caruso, the huge offensive play of the game, but considering how rare the 9-inning complete game is here in this league.
Schellenbarger, that's pretty well struck out to right. Going back just in front of the wall by maybe 12 inches. Brian Leaf makes the grab.
I really thought I jinxed him there. Speaking of jinxes
I
early.
thought you did too. And there's that limp flag again. We've had a few warning track shots tonight.
It's all going to be up to Scott Combs.
Ledbetter 1 out away from going start to finish in this game.
Nick Caruso from De La Salle with the big knock of the day, and it's up to Divine Child Scott Combs right now with 2 outs in the 9th. A couple of Catholic League products.
1-0, lined and a base hit. That was actually Sean Lawler pinch hitting for Combs.
Oh, well, there you go. See?
So he stays and keeps this inning alive. That brings up the tying run in Christian Fedko.
Good call. I didn't even notice the pinch hitter myself. That's a tough job in baseball. Pinch hitting in the 9th inning.
Yep. Lawler's been good in some pinch hit spots this year for them.
Waiting around for 9 innings.
Now there's Dearman out there. First pitch, Fedko spins out of the way of a slider that ended up not being as close as it looked. Is outside. Good count for Fedko. He's only reached once today. That was on a walk. This his 4th plate appearance. Does have 2 home runs in just a few games since joining the USPBL. Buzz the Tower 3-0.
This would not be the time to walk somebody here. 9-hitter, got a 2-run lead.
3-0. Fedko takes all the way, and that is ball 4.
Might be a good time to go talk to him right now. I mean, he's got to be around 120-something pitches. We're not looking right at the pitch count, but if you walk the 9-hitter on 4 pitches, you might be losing your command a little bit.
That's just Ledbetter's 2nd walk. Now the winning run. Steps up to the plate in Alex Pup.
You know, Fetko, a decent runner at first. The first baseman's playing well behind him. A ball in the gap's going to tie this game.
They've already gone to the bench once. Still available, Perez and Hughes. Slider misses 1-0.
First base coach Mike Rice has to keep an eye on the first baseman here a little bit. Fetko gets himself a pretty good secondary lead there, and if they put on a pick play, as we talked about, pretty good arm behind the plate here. You got to be careful. You don't want to end a playoff game like that.
1-0 popped up right side, and that will get out of play. Pup tonight, a pair of singles and a pair of contact outs, has scored 1 run. He almost had a big base hit in the 7th inning over the head of Morales, but he made a leaping grab, and they got a double play to end that inning.
Brown's creeping in a little at first.
Swing and a miss. Loda throw
there
back.
It is. Ooh. You know, I think I was more on that page with Loda than Brown was. You know, he didn't. He was right there. I mean, that was the third out if he was in position.
Brown was just a little too far back.
See, Loda and I thinking like catchers.
Sam Loda almost ended this game in style. There's only 1 strike left for Alex Pup. But a chance to tie or take the lead with a big swing. Ledbetter trying to finish this game as he started it. In the dirt, nobody moves on the skipped ball.
That's a key block. I mean, you don't want that ball getting by him, and then you've got second and third. All of a sudden, a base hit definitely ties the game. Getting tense here all of a sudden.
Both of these teams have had so many close battles this year. Got another one in the playoffs. 2-2. Got him! Strike 3! Ledbetter with the game of his life. 9 innings, 11 Ks, and the Mammoths move on to tomorrow.
Tremendous performance. And the big knock from the local boy, Nick Caruso, can't forget about that. But just a great performance by the Mammoths all the way around. And with the complete game, they put themselves in decent position for tomorrow night. 129 pitches for Ledbetter, really sucking it up, doing the job for his team on a night when they needed to fight their way into that semifinal game and have a fresh bullpen tomorrow night. He got it done.
I mean, he puts themselves in a fantastic spot for tomorrow. Jelly can pick whatever starter he wants to go out there and work with a regular bullpen against the Beavers. That game's scheduled for 7:05. It'll be the number 4 Mammoths against the number 2 Beavers. An all-around great game for the Mammoths in this one.
I mean, this game did not go the way that the Beavers wanted. I can promise you that. You know, they were hoping for extra innings and maybe 4 pitchers used on whatever team wins, and that's not the way it played out.
Colin Ledbetter on the day that he wins Pitcher of the Year pregame shows just why. 9 complete innings with 11 strikeouts. Chelsea Cooper is waiting. Looks like with Nick Caruso and maybe Ledbetter as well.
Co-players in the game, perhaps?
Maybe not. Looks like Ledbetter's going to maybe head off. Chelsea Cooper's got Nick Caruso standing by. We're going to send it down to her for our Player of the Game interview.
Home's Player of the Game. I got to give this one to Nick Caruso for hitting that grand slam that drove in 4 runs to really seal the deal and push the Mammoths to get this awesome victory. Nick, you got to describe to us when you knew that was going over the fence. Put that into words for us.
I can't. Plain and simple, I blacked out. I just went to my 2-strike approach, which I think I do best. I got a pitch that I loved, and I did all I could with it, man. I mean, that's what it took, and Colin pitched a hell of a game. So.
Colin did amazing tonight. I have to acknowledge Colin as well for his hard work. But on the underdogs, the number 4 seed will be heading on tomorrow to face the number 2 seed, the Beavers. So what do our Mammoths have to do?
We just got to relax.
What's on the shoe?
We just got to relax, enjoy the night, come back ready to go tomorrow. We're ready to go. So
maybe I'll bring a poncho tomorrow. Nick Caruso, everyone, the Barter Williams player of the game. Give it up for him and the Mammoths tonight.
Well, a well-deserved Gatorade shower courtesy of Elijah Brown here in Game 1 of the playoffs. On our Detroit Mercy postgame show, Nick Caruso, the hero offensively for the Mammoths, a grand slam in the 6th inning, trailing 3-2, gave them the 6-3 lead. That would end up being the crucial hit. Dan, the Hoppers made it interesting in both the 8th and the 9th, but ultimately it was just the Mammoths' day.
Yeah, they sure did. You know, it had that typical feel that a lot of times you get in a knockout game like we had tonight. It just seems like the Mammoths caught a few more breaks than the Hoppers did. Obviously, the tremendous pitching performance by Colin Ledbetter, kind of a hard luck performance not being the player of the game. But Nick Caruso certainly with the big knock of the day. It's hard to fault either of them being the player of the game. But not only did they pick up this win, but I think they put themselves in as good a position as they possibly could to make a run at the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers tomorrow night. And anything can happen from here. Team gets hot, single elimination playoff format. If a team is hot and confident, you just never know what's going to happen any given day.
It was a good season for the Hoppers. They started the year 0-5, really struggled to get out of the gate. They eventually handed the Unicorns their first loss of the season. Unicorns started the season, I believe, 9-0 before the Hoppers took them down. It was a back-and-forth battle with the 500 line all season long. Their regular season ended 21-23 before tonight, and you have to give them credit for how they battled through this game. There was a lot of ups and downs, and they stuck with it and gave it a chance in the 9th.
There's a lot to like about that Hoppers team. You know, they've got a couple guys at the top of the order that can run and play great defense. They've got some guys through the middle of the order that can hit the ball over the fence. You know, I think they may have debated a little bit internally about what to do with the pitching there at times, but they certainly had their dog on the mound to start the game. I mean, pitcher of the year candidate to start the game, and that was, I think the right way to go. But, I think they may have debated a little on when to pull them and who to go with next, and it just didn't work out this time. That's all. They didn't catch the breaks, and baseball's a really tough game to play in a single elimination format as we did tonight.
Well, Dan, it was a pleasure working with you for this one. Jeremy's going to be back tomorrow, but glad you got an entertaining one here in Game 1 of the playoffs.
Absolutely. A pleasure to be up here with you. Wish you and Jeremy the best tomorrow night. I know you're going to have a exciting ball game on your hands, and I will certainly be here watching it more on field level like I normally do. So I'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night.
For Dan Griesbaum Jr., I'm Brendan Shabath. We'll be back tomorrow. It's the number 2 Beavers taking on the number 4 Mammoths in the semifinals of championship weekend here on the US PBL Network.